Got nothing behind it, but. Hello and welcome to ALR Bronze Season 3 Round 11 Abu Dhabi. Now this is the final race of the season.
Hello.
And the the constructors is up for grabs. The Dylan's already won the drivers' championship, and even the top two, the other two promotions are up for grabs between Reflection, Smarsky, Leclerc, and Roscoe, I believe. Maybe even can Diashi still get in there? I don't think so.
No, I don't think he's.
So yeah, it's four drivers up for promotion. Really, it's a close battle between them, so it's going to be interesting. But yeah, so final race of the season for bronze. We've had a couple good races, I'd say, in gold and silver. Not so personally, but I think both of them have been pretty decent races. You had a very good race in gold.
Yeah, I was one of the most enjoyable races of the season for me on Sunday. Obviously, it was just you're always having to think on your toes around here because obviously it being a two-stop race, it's just harder with the strategy if there's safety cars or what not to do. But yeah, the strategy is quite interesting around here. But yeah, I think we'll have a good final send-off for bronze and F1 2020 in bronze as well. I think we've had a really good season, and I think the drivers will be keen to go out with a bang and show us what hopefully they'll be able to do. On the new game, it's what 6 weeks I think is it about that? I don't even know.
It's the end of July, so just over a month I think, and we'll be on a new game. So
I'm going to presume that there's no rain because it does only rain for about 14 days a year in Abu Dhabi apparently. But
well, let's hope this is one of them because it spiced it up a little bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you saw it in the tunnel there.
Was it last season for you? Was it in the end of?
No, it was silver last season. But
the last few laps was it?
I think it was the whole race was wet.
No, I think it was just the last few laps.
I didn't take part in it.
That they did see a bit of rain, so it's not completely.
But yeah, it was an absolute chaos show. So yeah, obviously Jake just saying first. You got Mike as well, and Theo as well. So
hello.
Yeah, obviously we had a brilliant race last week actually with Jamie winning the race like just.
Yeah, what was it, about 3,000ths I think it was right at the end.
Yeah, and I think the top three or. I think Dylan as well. They were all on like sort of three different tyres. We had a hard, medium, and a soft, sort of all doing crazy strategies. And yeah, Jamie just paid off. Obviously, Crystal Maze and Shadows getting second and third. Dashi just missing out on the podium, and then Dylan, who's already secured the title, just needed a point last week, getting fifth. So
he did get taken out by his teammate.
Yeah, he had a very unlucky race, but it didn't matter in the end. So actually, talking of penalties, I think Ginger Rage might have a penalty for this race. I will check penalties.
I know he did get reported, but I'm not sure what was the. I didn't. I'm not quite sure what the outcome of that was. But
I will check right now.
But yeah, we're going to see last week's race winner just about to start his lap. Hopefully, he's going to probably want to carry some momentum from last week. Going into Abu Dhabi and have a strong end to the season because he's got a bit lucky throughout the season I think as Jamie. He had a qualifying trim. He seemed quite decent for the first part of the season, but then in the race there was obviously a lot of eventualities that kind of either something on his own part or whether or not he come together with another driver or not. But he's towards the end of the season I think he's kind of got his head screwed on a little bit more and started to pick up a few more points. Obviously getting that win last week out, he's shown us why that I think he could be a strong contender for next season in bronze if he's sticking about. So yeah, let's see what he can do around Abu Dhabi today. Obviously, it will be a completely new game for next season, but it's just a matter of learning that game when it first comes out and trying to get your setups and everything ready as soon as you can and get that advantage of other people by putting in the time. And I think Jamie's one of those drivers that could actually be maybe even leading the way at the start of the next season. So yeah, I think it could be interesting, especially for him. But yeah, let's see what he can do in this race and qualifying. I think he's got a good chance, I think, because he's been looking quite quick the last few weeks. So I think he's going to want to try and hopefully get on that front row, maybe even that pole position. I think Jamie's going to want to go. It's looked a relatively clean lap so far, actually, to be fair. Obviously, it's still slightly light. It's not gone completely dark yet, which we don't usually see to about the end of Q2 and start of Q3ish. Got a little bit wobbly there out of the penultimate corner, but he's coming around the last corner now, and he goes wide and he's across the line of 34.2. It's a pretty decent lap time.
So that's a good lap, yeah.
For a
I'll be happy
first
with
run.
that, especially in Q1. So Ginger Age does have a Q3 ban, I think, for last week, and that should be it. That's if he gets into Q3, that is. But yeah, so looking forward to this race. Obviously,
Sorry, so Marvsky's just gone second, but he is about 9 tenths off Jamie's time, and I know Marvsky said he didn't have a lot of time to practice once again, so...
I think quite a few people said they didn't practice for today.
Yeah, but then a driver like Marvsky, I think he probably would have had his setup sorted from probably like a previous race that he's done around Abu Dhabi, and it's just getting to grips, so he's probably going to do a fair few laps, I'd probably imagine, in Q1 to get up to speed with the circuit and get in the rhythm, and I think we'll see that time tumbling down throughout this session.
The Ashley's just said it will stay dry, which is a massive shocker.
Yeah, I was expecting to get my
Vintage has just invalidated this lap. But yeah, so obviously, yeah, next game's going to be interesting. We know so far, obviously, that managing fuel's going to be different. You're going to have to manage it a lot closer. ERS is changing as well, so
my racer goes up into second, 4 tenths of Jamie time, so it's probably showing actually there's a pretty decent lap time there by Jamie compared to the other drivers. Kamara Racer and Marsky and Reflection all being pretty solid drivers, being towards the top end of the championship, and I mean Jamie's 4 tenths quicker than all of the lot so far, so I think hopefully he's going to want to carry that through in this whole of qualifying session, and maybe he's going to go back-to-back wins maybe for Jamie, could potentially be. So who else have we got now? Because that Shannon's just about to start a lap. Vintage. It's quite a weird track actually in qualifying, because when you're on a qualifying lap, I find it quite easy to invalidate, but then in the race, it's quite easy to not get track limit warnings or whatnot. But I mean that doesn't really make a lot of sense. But obviously in qualifying,
you're pushing hard, you find the reaches.
Yeah, it's quite hard to find the limit, because the curbs around here, especially starting the third sector through that left-right chicane after the second straight, it's one of the harder places, and on the exit there of the second to last corner, those are the couple places that's really, really easy to exceed those track limits and pick up an invalidation on your lap. But in the race, I don't know, I feel like you could maybe just take it a little bit differently, and you obviously take a little bit more caution going into it, and going slow in, fast out, and I don't know, I think I only got the one warning on Sunday, and I know you picked up one penalty, didn't you? Two penalties in the end. It's not one of the tracks like Mexico where you really think about penalties a lot. I think it's one of the ones that you don't really think about it too much, and it's one of the ones that you don't. Almost Theo's just got up to third fastest on a 34.6, so that's a really good lap time there by Theo. I didn't actually see that. And was that Kamara Racer that went quicker as well, potentially?
Yeah, sure.
And Spud goes up into fourth as well. So, yeah, obviously we're already into the 34s, and Jamie's not too far off the 33s as well. So, I reckon they probably could go maybe about a second quicker in Q3, potentially, and maybe get into the low 33s, you'd imagine, maybe mid 33s. I think it could be quite a close quality session, look at these times already. And I think Marvsky's, that's really close to the wall there, as you do obviously want to get close as you possibly can and use that every inch of the track, but Marvsky's really pushing in this Q1 session. He's just going to come across the line any second now. I think he's just about to finish that. It goes about 3 or 4, just under 4 times faster, puts himself up to P4. So that's exactly what I was talking about. Marvsky just obviously getting back into the groove of the circuit, and he's only gone, he's only about a tenth off second place. So he's going to be quite happy with that lap time. Maybe he's going to go for maybe one more run on those same tyres. Maybe just get himself ready for the other qualifying sessions. But obviously here we have the champion, Dylan. How he's just started his lap now. He's obviously secured that championship last week out in Brazil.
Still got something to fight for though. We've got the constructors, which still is to play for with him and Ginger Age. Only need was it a point?
Yeah, well, 2 points.
2 points, but yeah,
1 point, and they pretty much got it. They'd have to, it'd obviously go on count back then. They only need the 1 point. So it's fairly unless there's a complete disaster and maybe Ginger Age goes into the back of his teammate again, like he did last week. Oh, Dylan got a really slide on the rear end there actually. So maybe his setup's quite a little bit slider on the rear end. Maybe that's kind of what he prefers. But yeah, they literally just got to secure the 1 point, and then Williams would have done the double. I think this could actually be. Is it the first championship that's not a Renault driver, other than obviously Dylan himself? Actually.
Gold and silver is
Renault.
Bronze will be Williams. I'm pretty sure.
Cobalt's not finished.
Cobalt
yet.
is Alfa Romeo at the minute. I'll just check. But Cobalt, I think it is Alfa Romeo. Let's have a look.
But yeah, we'll see where can Dylan put that Williams now. Obviously, he's just about to come across the line now, and he obviously is the champion now, and he goes up into P2. So Jamie's time is actually really strong. I mean, it might not have been a great lap by Dylan because we did see him a bit squirrely on the rear end of that coming down the straight. But yeah, Jamie could be going for back-to-back wins, like I said earlier on. He's done obviously he's shown the pace now, so he's obviously he's finally got the grip. So obviously he has had. Oh, sorry, Diashi's just absolutely smashed that time just as I'm talking about that, and he goes almost 3 times quicker in fact.
Yeah,
and already goes into the 33s. Yeah, that's an astonishing lap time. Just as I was saying that obviously the Renaults in bronze maybe aren't doing as well as the other leagues, and then he goes and puts it into P1.
Yeah, that's on silver pace, to be fair to him.
Yeah.
So I mean, my best was around Jamie's time. It was 1:34.2, I think. So yeah, it's brilliant time from Diashi. Also got a lovely orange helmet, followed with his obviously German flags like Vettel. So that's good. Also, yeah. So Cobalt looks like it's going to be Racing Point, which Alfa Romeo still could win it, but at the minute Racing Point are winning it. So yeah, I feel like if Diashi was started in the start of bronze season, because he's only just filled in quite late as a full-time seat, him and Marvsky as a team I think would have got a lot of points together.
Oh yeah, they would. I think they would have dominated.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sammy only puts himself in P13 on a 36 dead. I think he did say that he didn't really have a lot of time to practice well. I think he was late back from work or something. But Sammy's kind of dropped off a little bit since Monza. That when they had that chance of, well, he was in a race-winning position until, what was it, a safety car I think that came out and absolutely completely ruined his strategy. Yeah, since then he's kind of
and
not
he
hit
had a lot of penalties at the same time, which ruined his race.
Yeah, he just hasn't kind of hit like the rub of the green really. And
he's definitely got the pace, especially in qualifying. But just picking up penalties and just like settling down in the race is well, if he gets that sorted, he's like top 3, top 4 drivers, I think, in bronze.
Yeah, I think he could be one of the few drivers that, well, not the few, but I think he could be one of the ones that are maybe looking towards the top end of the championship for next season if they can get. Oh, sorry, he's down on his time, so we'll switch to another driver. Yeah, is that Meaty? Yeah, Meaty just put himself up into P4. So he's also shown us that he's got some really. Look how close these guys are. So we've got Jamie there on a 34.2, and then we've got Dylan and Meaty on 34.4s, and then we've got Kamara racer Theo Marvsky all within a tenth of each other, and then you've only got Spud about a tenth or so back. And then Roscoe's only about another tenth back, and then there's a bit of a drop off after that. But these times are really close. So I think qualifying 2 is going to be super close. I'd be surprised if you try and, well, maybe the likes of Diashi and Jamie, and maybe Dylan might try and make through it on the mediums, but it's going to be quite a difficult thing to do, I'd probably say. Yeah, so I think we're going to be quite interested, but. Yeah, it just shows how close the grid is. I think this season in bronze, it's been. You've seen a fair few of the usual customers up there, but then the rest of it has been nip and tuck really throughout the whole, kind of like real life in the mid pack. And yeah, with Dylan just saying that he got massive wheel spin on the exit of the chicane on his lap, and we did actually see that on stream.
Yeah, there's quite a few low grip traction zones here.
Well, I think it's more down to the setup. If you've got quite high ride height, the car doesn't seem to like to ride the curbs as much, which I figured out the other day on Sunday. We were doing a practice session before the race, and I switched my setup kind of last minute before the race to something that had a bit of a lower ride height, and it just helped with a lot with the with the traction. Oh, the light's gone really wide there.
Just managed to catch it.
Oh, that was quite a good save, to be fair from him. I'm not quite sure he didn't actually invalidate that, but yeah, I think that cost him quite a lot of time there, probably easily about a second, but he only puts himself into P15, so he's right on the cusp. He's got 4 minutes. He might not actually have. I know we usually do have a bit of a time desync, but he's probably just about got enough time to. If he cuts the corners and everything, he might actually just about make it, but it's going to be touch and go from Booty Delight. So
Yeah.
he's going to want to try and.
I think he should have maybe come into the pits then. I don't know his tyre situation, but
Yeah, but then I guess you do want to just get a lap on the board. I mean, obviously he could invalidate his next run, but then again, he's not going to have. Well, unless he carries back, he might not have that much time to go again. But then you have got like the likes of Crystal May, Sir Dave, who's just on a lap now. It's, I think we'll just stay on board with him unless Summer Wings. Yeah, we'll still jump on board with Summer Wings. He's just about to finish his lap in the McLaren tonight. And let's see where he can put it. He's quite a relatively quick guy, I think. Yeah, wow, actually, just saying that, he beats Diashi's time. Like 4,000ths of a second.
Incredible time.
So I think that's just another guy that could actually potentially be up there. So, yeah, I think as it goes on, these times are getting closer and closer. As we're just going to jump back on board with Sir Dave to see where he can put the Red Bull. The Red Bull, obviously, I think, who was it that got a win the other week? I think it's the only win for Red Bull in all 4 leagues, I think. As Sir Dave Gauls did a bit of a copy of Booty Delight almost, and went a bit wide. Didn't quite get the kind of the rear end kind of snapped like Booty did, but he only puts himself into 16th, and not such a dissimilar time from Booty Delight. Only about, well, just 200s God quicker. So those two, hopefully they've got the fuel on board, or. Yeah, Booty Delight has obviously, he's gone for another lap, so he did have the fuel on board to go for a second run, but he has already done 2 laps on those tyres, and I think Sir Dave is going for another one as well, but he is a 10th down in the first sector. Oh, as Booty Delight spun! Oh, so that's going to be it for Booty Delight, I think, unless he's got more fuel, and, well, I think he's definitely got the time to make it round again, but I don't know if he'll have fuel.
Has he got wind damage there? Or?
I don't think I did see any damage there, but I could be wrong, but...
it doesn't look like he has any damage. So...
No, so maybe he got quite lucky there with that spin. It's quite easily to go into the wall there. But these guys in the bottom 3 now are just starting the laps, but they've only got the 1 run now to get that lap on the board. So yeah, it's going to be quite it's a little bit of squeaky bum time now from these guys at the bottom. As they've got another yellow flag there in sector 1.
Mercedes.
I think it might be just someone moving out of the way of. Is it Vintage? I think possibly. Yeah,
I think just skip the.
But Chappie there has invalidated his lap. Dylan's gone out again on the same set of tyres. He's obviously just trying to improve that lap a little bit more. He's slightly down in the first sector, but obviously we did see him make his mistake on the rear end at that point, and he's done kind of a similar thing.
We've got Sir Dave, coming over. Has he improved his time?
I think that might. Is it Sir Dave?
Is it Sir Dave?
Yeah, he did improve his time by half a second, but didn't move him out of 16th. And he's not got the fuel end, so that's going to be it for Sir Dave. And Booty Delight's invalidated his lap, but he could have enough fuel and time to go for another run. But then that's on 3-lap-old tyres now, as he's really attacking the car. He has got the battery saved up now.
To come over the line as well.
Yeah, he goes up into P13.
He's safe for the minute.
So he's 13th, not too comfortable, because you do have the likes of Crystal Maze and Cryptic Alibi. Well, Cryptic Alibi actually, he's set a lap time, and he's all the way down to P19. But Crystal Maze,
you expect him to go up.
Yeah, you expect him to go maybe even to the very top of the timesheets, I'd imagine, in the Ferrari. He's had quite a strong season, I'd say. Let's see where he can put the Ferrari. Yeah, right at the top. That's just what I expected. That's 2 attempts quicker than Summer Wings time, and yeah, these times are slowly coming down. As Dylan's retired from the session, he's in the pits. So yeah, so from the champion, he's in P5. So maybe he's not quite suited to this track. But yeah, let's see what Q2 can hold for them. The Reflections retired in P13 as Ginger Rage is on another lap as well. So he's gone for 2 runs.
Lap. How close is he to getting over the line?
Shadows is. Whereabouts? He's just coming in. He's in the final sector now.
I don't know how far behind we are.
We usually have about a 30-second time deficit, don't we? So I'd probably say he's probably just about safe to maybe start a lap. Otherwise, you'd probably see him pushing quite a lot harder. Yeah, I think he probably just having enough time. Otherwise, you'd probably see him come into the pits, I'd imagine. Yeah, he didn't have enough time. But Ginger Rage, obviously, he's going to need to make this. He's 4 attempts down. He's invalidated his lap.
Shadows didn't have enough time.
Oh yeah, that's going to be Shadows out. So Ginger Rage could be counting himself quite lucky there, unless one of these guys here can potentially push him into P15. As it stands, Shadows is just about making it through. Crystal Maze has put it in the wall.
Oh my god!
So that's going to be Crystal Maze out of qualifying 1. which he didn't really need to do because he had to set. He was fastest. Was Crystal Maze.
How was he into P15 though?
Because if you crash in, they.
Oh no!
Dave gets right in the way there of Vintage, and that's going to be it for Vintage. He was on a lap. I don't know if he was going up on his time or anything, but he hadn't validated up to that point. So that's going to see Vintage out of qualifying 1, as well as Sammy, unless he can improve on his time. Sir Davis obviously getting in the way there of Vintage.
Fuel, I think.
Oh yeah, he must have been in low fuel mode.
Yeah, he's struggling to get round, but
Cryptic Alibi also out. I think that could just be him wanting to start from the back though. So I think Ginger Rage and Shadows could probably count themselves quite lucky there because they were right. As I said, that Shadows just gets knocked out actually. Sorry about that, Shadows. But Ginger Rage then being the one to just about make it through. Well, that's kind of an exciting end to qualifying.
Yeah,
well, qualifying 1 anyway.
Shame about Vintage, but
yeah, I think Sir Dave just got caught out at the wrong time. Obviously, he was definitely in low fuel mode there, so maybe could have been a bit more aware of his surroundings. But at the end of the day, obviously, he was in that low fuel mode. I presume that's probably what it was. I don't think Dave would do that on purpose, especially to Vintage. But yeah, that's going to be Crystal Maze. He was fastest, and he put it in the wall on his return to the pits. So he's not going to go through into Q3. He's going to be starting P15, which is quite shocking. It's quite disappointing as well because obviously it would have been another guy right at the very top to fight for pole going into Q3. But yeah, that's going to see him out of qualifying 1. That's crazy. As Shadows there also getting knocked out P16, Vintage at P17. As Davis got a 10 place grid penalty. I'm guessing for that incident with Vintage, which obviously will drop him down to the very back of the grid. Only 2 positions, but yeah, that's going to be unfortunate for Dave. He's going to be starting at the very back, and Booty Delight and Cryptic Alibi both getting knocked out as well. But obviously Dave will be at the very back. So Ginger Rage getting quite lucky there, right on the cusp. But Crystal Maze, that's a big shock there. Yeah, that's wow, that was an exciting Q1 for once. It's never usually that exciting, to be honest. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so interesting. But on to Q2. It'd be interesting. I think we saw a mix in gold between silver, soft and medium. We had all mediums in the top 10s. No one wanted to go on the softs in silver. So it'd be interesting to see how many people. I think only one person selected mediums as it is.
I mean, ideally, I think you would want to be starting on those mediums because I think the ideal strategy is mediums to softs. But it's just if there's a safety car or something, it's just a matter of luck who's in the right window for their tyres, really. Yeah, it's just at the end of the day, it's just a matter of luck if there's safety cars or whatnot in the race. As I think Dave could have actually been involved with the incident with Crystal Maze as well, by the looks of it.
I think he retired just in front of the finish line. So his car just basically stopped.
No, I think Crystal Maze obviously was coming down the double right-hander in the third and final sector, and that's when he was in low fuel mode. I think he might have been right on the apex.
Well, I just saw people were saying that he retired on track, but we'll leave it up to the stewards if anyone reports it anyway. So yeah, we'll just go on to the rest of qualifying and on to the race. So yeah, just a couple of people.
At the minute, actually, no one is out on. Oh, that's the fastest lap. Never mind.
Yeah, these could be already used softs, maybe doing a banker. But
yeah, so Sammy, Ginger Rage, Meaty, Diashi, Chappie, all on the mediums, and then there's a few other guys on softs, but they could just be putting in a banker lap to get that delta in.
I mean, for me, if I'm like I did, wait till the 10th minute. You know, everyone sort of goes around and does their banker laps. I'll come out, and then you could do if you want to improve on those mediums. A last call on the same set, so maybe that's what some people are doing, just waiting until then, but we'll find out, I guess.
As Ginger Age Dave is a shambles. Yeah, like we said, we'll just leave it to the students.
Yeah, I'm sure Ginger Age will be having a little word with him, but you know, of course, any penalties will go on to the start of next season, so it's not a free race. You just do whatever you want. It does have effect onto your next race, so on the new game, which you never want to start a new game, new season with already a penalty, do you? So yeah, just be careful. But yeah, hopefully we can get some nice, good, clean laps in here. Sammy will want to get through on these mediums. I think some people will be trying to go on the softs here.
Yeah, I mean, both tyres are good. I mean, it's not a downside either, really, on starting on either of them, because you can still be on the soft tyres towards the end. I just think that with obviously the lower fuel, that being on the mediums, that just getting them out of the way in that first stint is probably the better thing to do, in my opinion. So yeah, ideally you do want to be on the mediums, but it all depends on where you really start, to be honest, because obviously myself and Chaz both started on the mediums on Sunday, and Chaz obviously got par when I was P3, I think, or P4, and obviously the mediums obviously had a lot less grip compared to the softs. So obviously, yeah, depending on where you start, you obviously, which you won't know until after Q2, it can go either way. You can, obviously, if you're further back, you might want to be on those soft tyres to get a better start and jump a couple of positions, maybe on those guys against those guys who are on those medium tyres. Yeah, as Diashi's just about to come across the line, and he's on the medium tyres just as we're talking about those. And he's going to come across the line, and he's going to do a 34.8, which I don't think is a too shabby time, actually, on the medium tyres. As Dylan is on those softs, and he's done a 36.6, which I presume is probably a banker, because it should be quicker than the Diashi and Sammy.
Yeah.
Sammy's quite a bit off the pace of Diashi there, probably about 7 tenths. Kamara Racer does a 35 flat on the softs. Spud goes into P1 on the softs as well, on a 34.6.
I think he can still go faster on softs, but Diashi, I think he might be happy with that medium. It depends if the majority, if not all of them, will probably go on softs anyway, but I don't think you can maybe get those mediums much quicker, because they are, I mean, for me, I don't like anything other than the softs feel horrible for me around here. But
yeah, the tyre wear's quite weird around here, because in quality, I think they don't really drop off too much, but then once it gets into the race, after 3 or 4 laps, the softs just kind of yeah, like you said, they just don't feel nice at all. It's kind of the same with the mediums. The difference between the two tyres isn't actually that much. I think it's only about half a second. I know that's a lot, but in the race, once you're on those worn tyres, as Diashi obviously just on his in lap actually, yeah, when you're both on those worn tyres, they kind of neutralise quite quickly. Because the softs can only probably do about 10 laps, and the mediums can just about go about 12. You can push them a little bit more, but you don't really want to be doing much more than that, because they just hit a cliff after that, and then you just lose so much time. So yeah, it's going to be quite good to see that maybe a bit of a mix-up in strategies. We kind of seen that. Oh no, we didn't see that in silver actually. But on Sunday we saw a lot of different drivers on different tyres, not just in the top 10, but also outside the top 10. Obviously, those who don't make it through will be able to have a free choice of tyres. Some people choosing the hards, which you don't really necessarily have to do, but if you want to try and go longer, you can do a one-stop round here, hards to mediums, but it's just more optimum to do the two-stop, I think. Yeah, let's see what Jamie can do. He's on the soft, so I think he's just this is a quick lap, I think, from him. So he's going to want to start on those softs. There's a 34 flat. Which was 2 tenths quicker than I think, from his Q1 time.
But that's on old tyres, I think, not 2 laps.
Yeah, 2 lap old softs actually. Yeah, you're right.
So we probably put on a new set at the end and probably go even quicker.
Yeah, or maybe I don't think he's going to go for quicker than that on maybe a fresh set of mediums. I doubt. Yeah, let's see. It's still a strong time there from Jamie off the bat. But Ginger Ale just on an out lap. Meaty just starting his lap on the softs. Marvsky with a stick on board with, I think.
Oh, just got a lot of the curb there.
Yeah, if you've got a nice setup, you can do it, and
take from my experience, getting a bit of the curb there can send you flying.
It's a bit like Bahrain curb of death, if you know what we're talking about, and start of sector 3. Yeah, you don't really want to be touching that one that too much, otherwise the front end just disappears, and you end up doing some very, very high speed donuts. Let's put it that way. So let's see what Marsky can do with the rest of this lap. He's going to want to try and get that car up as high as he possibly can on those medium tyres to make him more self-comfortable towards the end and not have to start on those soft tyres. It's a relatively good lap so far from Marsky. Sometimes a slower lap probably could actually end up being a quicker lap, as Top Gear used to say in the style in the recent priced car. Sometimes, a slower kind of looking laps, more smooth is actually kind of a faster way of going around it, depending on your driving style, obviously that is. Obviously, we do only have the 14 drivers in the session because obviously the Crystal Maze incident, obviously his car not coming through into qualifying 2, even though he did go the fastest. So yeah, let's see where Marski can put the Renault.
I think both McLarens are coming over, or one of them. Sorry, one of
I
them.
think Summer Wing is just starting a lap. So where can Marski put the Renault? I think he's looked like a relatively good lap. Oh, only P6. Where can Meaty put himself? Only P7 on those softs, so I'd imagine that he probably wasn't pushing too hard potentially, and he's going to probably put on the mediums, and he's going to go for a quicker lap now.
Yeah, Diashi's medium time is looking more and more impressive, to be fair. So.
Yeah, but then you do have obviously Dylan.
Oh, Gingerich went a bit wide.
He has invalidated his lap early on anyway.
Yeah.
So I think he's just going to go straight for another run, I'd imagine. Yeah, Dylan now on his outlap on his medium, so this is what now where Dylan's going to show us what he can do on those medium compound tyres, and see where he can get himself on those, and hopefully potentially make it through on those mediums, you'd imagine. Roscoe still in the pits at the minute. Summer Wing obviously showing some great pace in qualifying 1 on the mediums now as well. Let's see if he set a purple middle sector. I know there's sometimes a bit of a Cody's glitch, so whether or not that actually is a purple sector or not, I'd be surprised if it was, unless he's got a rocket ship for a car in a straight line. Yeah, let's hopefully Summer Wing can carry that momentum now. He's reserved in gold a few times, I think, as Summer Wing, and he's shown some quite good pace in there. So I think bronze, you kind of would expect him to be maybe towards the top and maybe fighting for podiums and even race wins actually. Yeah, let's see what he can do. I think him and Jamie actually have got identical helmets, thinking about it, so it's going to be quite confusing. Obviously, I know we do have the names and everything, but wow, he just put himself P3 on his mediums, about a tenth and a half ahead of Diashi on the mediums, on the same set of compound tyres. So he's going to be quite happy with that lap, I think. Is that Ginger Age there, just flying over the curbs? Yeah, we tapped those curbs quite nicely. He's really going for it on this lap, actually, as Ginger Age, and he's yeah, he needs to get this lap done now, actually. There's a couple of yellow flags, so just cars moving out the way, I think. Had to take a couple of turns at the steering wheel to go around the downhill right-hander there, and he's really feathering the throttle as well through that third to last corner. Now coming through the penultimate corner, not going too far wide, and that's a nice line through there. Coming around the last corner, getting a lot of curb. Oh, he's just going to invalidate that lap now, I think. Oh no, he didn't. But it is only P11, so he's outside the top 10, and with just under 5 minutes to go, he needs to get back to the pits, maybe refuel, put on those soft tyres, and try and get himself further up the grid. Oh, he's just hit the brake marker board there, and some debris has just gone flying.
A bit of anger, he's trying to get out there. But yeah, obviously we're maybe delayed a bit, so he probably does have time to get back in the pits. I mean, I would have cut that chicane there if I was Ginger Age, but he's gone round it for some reason.
As Dylan puts himself into P4, behind Summer Wing's time on the medium tyres, and just in between Diashi.
Summer Wing's time was on the mediums. I thought it was on the softs.
No, yeah, it's a really impressive time there for Summer Wing.
Yeah. I reckon Diashi, Dylan and Summer Wing I think they're going to tempt fate and stay with the mediums.
Diashi has selected the soft tyres, but he's probably going to choose...
He'll wait till the last second.
Yeah, then maybe, hopefully he's got someone talking in his ear, maybe...
Summer Wing, I think, is safe on those mediums at least.
Yeah, well, it's about half... I think it's about 6 tenths the delta between the two of them, so it'd be a 35.2, which would be from Meaty down. So yeah, anyone below him really, if that is their fastest lap, let's say.
I mean, Roscoe still hasn't set a time. Chappie can definitely
get
he's
still in
there.
the pits, so maybe he's just going to go for the one run.
Chappie's time is quite slow for him. Marvsky, Reflection, Kamara Racer are also already in the top 10, but they probably can improve, so I think he is kind of safe. But I don't know, we'll find out. I mean, maybe everyone below on softs can go jump in, but Ginger Age going to try to get in the pits, but there is a McLaren in the way.
Yeah, they're both just going to slow down though, it's not any issue or anything. But Theo's 6 seconds up on his time, obviously done a really slow first run, just so he's got that delta.
Rapid.
But yeah, let's see where Theo can do. Obviously, the awards obviously have all closed now, but Theo, in my opinion, probably deserves overtaking the season. I think we'll find out.
Yeah.
Is it next week? I think is it that after.
I think it'll be in the end of season awards.
Yeah, the end of season review and everything. I think that's going to be. I'm not quite sure when it will be. I can't actually remember. I'll probably get a bit of a telling off for not remembering. But yeah, it's going to be obviously at the end of that. And I personally think Theo deserves the overtaking the season for that epic move in Spa.
It was one of my highlights of the season, to be fair.
Yeah, it's definitely one that sticks out. But wow, he puts himself in P4 again, ahead of the champion Dylan
on mediums.
On mediums, yeah. So maybe it's that's track evolution there. Obviously, the track cooling down as the sun sets around here in Abu Dhabi. Theo putting himself in P4 on those medium tyres. In between Dylan, the champion, and Summer Wing, as we've both said that those times of those two are really good times on the medium, so I think Theo's going to be quite happy with that time, and I think that could potentially see him through, as he's not going to have enough time now to come back in, unless he's got the fuel. He could go for another run and try and improve it, but the tyres obviously won't be as fresh, and he will have to start the race on those, so I think Theo's going to probably come back into the pits now and retire, so he's going to be kind of hoping that the other guys behind him can't improve on their times, but we're going to see a whole flux of drivers now come out on the soft tyres, I'd imagine, as Diashi's there selecting them and still not come out yet, but obviously we've got that time desync. Reflections out on the softs, as is Meaty, Sammy, Chappie, Ginger Age is just coming out now. Roscoe is still in the pits, so not a lot of activity there from the Ferrari boys. So Dylan has retired, so he thinks he's fairly happy with his time, and he's retired in the pits. So yeah, he's going to hope that 5 drivers can't beat his time, otherwise he will obviously be knocked out of qualifying 2. I'm sorry, excuse me, I've had a really
in the comments talking about strategy. Some people apparently thinking they could do maybe a one-stop, but for me, I mean, it's too risky, I think, especially with tyre wear around here.
The one-stop is definitely both possible.
Oh, you can do it, but both of your sets of tyres you'll have to push to the limit, and you're going to lose so much time.
If you can kind of find your own little space,
and that's without safety cars. Obviously.
Yeah, and safety cars are very likely around here. I think you saw 2 yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, I think it was 2.
And we had 2 on Sunday as well as a VSC, I think.
Because there's not only close barriers, but because it's the end of the season, 1, people push harder, and 2, people are kind of more careless, sorry. So it kind of all adds up into Abu Dhabi being a nightmare sometimes.
Oh, sorry, is that Spud that's just gone into P3? Potentially, I don't know.
It's on softs, so Diashi has improved on softs.
As Chappie's in the pit, so that's going to be it for Chappie, I think.
Oh.
He must have been down on his time. Sammy's 2 temps up. Roscoe's still in the pits as well, so that's to be it for Roscoe. He's not going to have enough time.
Outlap, how close is he?
He's got the time. He's got plenty of time.
Right, so we're going to see if Meaty, Marvsky's just risked it. It's going to stay with the mediums there. I mean, I think you've still got... Well, Roscoe doesn't seem to be coming out, so...
He's only got about 2 temps between
Roscoe,
him and Sammy.
It's Ginger Age and Sammy that can basically knock out Marvsky and Meaty. Reflection and above are safe. Yeah,
as Ginger Age has 2 temps up on his time as well, so Ginger Age needs to go about half a second quicker to make it into Q2 and knock out Meaty and Marvsky. Well, he needs to go about 7 temps quicker to knock out Marvsky. So it's going to be quite a difficult challenge, I think, for Ginger Age to maybe get... I think he could get Meaty if he does a good lap, but Sammy's 7 temps up, so that's going to be a good side for Ginger Age, because that's what he needs, really, to secure himself in qualifying 3. So Marvsky could be getting biting his nails right now, because Sammy is obviously up on his time. Meaty is going to be a bit worried, but he is also on a lap, and he's only marginally up, I think. Yeah, he's only about a 10th up on his time, so Sammy and Ginger Age could potentially go ahead of both of them. So let's see what Sammy can do. He was 7 temps up in the end of Sector 2, start of Sector 3, and he puts himself, almost a second up into P3. Let's jump back to Meaty. He's still only a 10th up, obviously, into that sector. Did Ginger Age just make a mistake there? I don't know. Yeah,
he's
harvesting his energy, so I think that could be look like a bit of a mistake there from Ginger Age, but we'll jump back on board with Meaty. He was only slightly up. He needs about 2 temps to push Marvsky out of qualifying 2 and into the drop zone. What can Meaty do? I think he could be on for it here. Yeah, he puts himself up to P4. So what can Ginger Age is invalidated. So Marvsky just loses out in P11, and Meaty and Sammy just about get through on their final runs, putting some impressive times there on the softs.
Yeah, it's a shame for Ginger Age, but you can start on fresh mediums as well as Marvsky, so it's not all doom and gloom. I think obviously we've got Summer Wings, Theo and Dylan, who's going to be on the mediums in the top 10. So see if that pays off for him. If there's an early safety car, it's a bit of a nightmare.
I think Marcy's going to be gutted by that. He literally just lost out by just under 200ths of a second
to be honest,
Reflection.
It's worth the risk, I think. It's 11th starting on fresh mediums is where it's a decent start position.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously in Q3 he probably could have been close to maybe the top 5, I think, but you never know. So,
but once again, Jamie showing his pace, choosing to go on those soft tyres and 2 times ahead of Diashi. So Jamie's obviously definitely had his practice in this week. Obviously carrying that momentum from last week. To go quickest in Q2. Hopefully he can try and get that pole position. So Summer Wing, Theo, Dylan, all making it through on the medium tyres there, all those 4. So we're going to watch out for those on the start. Maybe they'll have a bit of a slower start. But Marski just narrowly losing out at the end there, getting knocked out in P11. Chappie there in P12, just coming into the pits towards the end of the session. Must have been down on his time, I think. Ginger Raging validating his last lap. P13, so a bit of a disappointment there. Roscoe not even choosing to set a time, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Maybe he just wants to start outside the top 10, maybe have a bit of a fun end.
Definitely has the pace to get up into the points. So.
Yeah, but I mean, he is still. He could actually potentially get into the top 3 and maybe get promoted.
Obviously, I don't think Leclerc's here, is he? Oh, sorry. But yeah, so yeah, Roscoe looking like he can get into the top 3. Marvsky and Reflection, obviously, where's Reflection? So Reflection's in the top 10
Reflection
as well.
just made it through into P10.
Yeah, Marvsky just needs to get some decent points, and I think he's pretty much safe for promotion. So let's just see. Yeah, Roscoe's not too far behind. He's what is it? I think it's. Let's have a look. Yeah, so he's about 8 points behind Marvsky. So if Marvsky just gets in the points, he's pretty safe because it's unless strategy and whatever completely changes and Roscoe gets a podium, then that could completely change it. But yeah, Marvsky's had a really good season, to be fair to him. So he's been right up there. So I think he does deserve promotion.
So here we are. We'll get into Q3 now. The guys are just coming out for their first runs. Here he is, the bronze champion. Not looked right up there this week, which is quite surprising. But then that's kind of been a bit of the story with Dylan. He's not looked the quickest every week, but he's won some races and he's got a few pole positions under his belt as well. But he's been Mr. Consistent so far, and I think that's a great thing to have, is a bit of consistency. Obviously, we saw last week that he obviously had 2 spins, both no fault of his own, and he still managed to get P7, I think, was it in the end, or P5, sorry. So yeah, it just shows the determination of Dylan to not give up no matter what happens in the race, because you just never know what can happen. Late safety cars, everything can change the misfortune you have earlier on in the race, so fair play to him for that. Yeah, so Summer Wing, there's quite a few drivers, I'd say. I'm not quite sure who's going to get pole today. I think Summer Wing's definitely in the shout. Jamie's probably looked the favourite so far, I'd probably say. I mean, Spud's looked relatively quick as well. Meaty's looked quick as well.
It's been all over.
Diashi's looked up there, and so I think it's all going to be up for grabs with all these drivers. I
still think Diashi will probably get pole. He's been the 2 qualifying the most consistent, but.
Oh yeah, tell us in the comments who you think is going to get pole. I'm going to put my money on Jamie. I think he's had that momentum from last week with the race win. I think he's going to try and want to get that pole today. So I'm going to put my money. Not that I prove better. Unless you're 18 plus or anything, then go for it. But these guys are just getting. Oh, what's going on here? Actually,
a bit of a fight here.
Yeah, I think Diashi's going to invalidate this in next lap. I think
he shouldn't if he just goes slow.
Well, he's still going to be really slow going over the line, actually. But let's jump back on board with Summer Wing. He's just starting his lap, and Sammy's really, really close to him, actually. So he will pick up a slipstream down the back straight, but he's going to be too close going through this sector and the last sector as well. Whether or not this was planned by Sammy, I don't know, but maybe he's been watching too much Baku. And he's obviously watched too much of maybe Lewis Hamilton and obviously what they were doing in qualifying. So, yeah, Summer Wing's going to accidentally give Sammy a huge toe down this straight and the next one, but Sammy will obviously lose out a lot of time in that 3rd sector and the first one that we've just been through.
Yeah, you need to keep your gaps in qualifying. It can.
I don't think it's worth it. I think the amount of time that you'll gain going down these straights, you'll probably lose more being in that dirty air, and it's a bit distracting to have another car in front of you. When you've got your own little space, it's just so easy to kind of get in a zone and just setting the laps, I think. So it'll be interesting to see what times these guys do compared to each other, because they've been obviously so close to each other on this lap. The gap does look like it's getting slightly bigger in Summerwing's favour, so I think Sammy could be struggling a little bit with that dirty air. But let's see what they can do. Obviously, Sammy, maybe, I don't know if he did want to be that close, but maybe it's just what happened and because of the incident that happened with Diashi. Serious Mushroom saying Summerwing for pole. Mushroom, oh no, Bashi, Harry or Camaro, and then Summerwing if not. So Summerwing, excuse me, 34-2, and yeah, Sammy just over a tenth. Oh! What's going on there? Sammy just crashing into Summerwing there.
What is going on there?
Sammy's got a 5-place grid penalty for that incident.
Looks like he's lost the rear end there.
I don't know, that kind of looked a little bit deliberate to me, but Jamie's just gone fastest, 4 thousandths ahead of Summerwing, his teammate. So that's really, really close to kind of what happened to like last week in the race, where Jamie won by 3 thousandths of a second. It's 4 thousandths of a second in qualifying today.
Stopped on track, Summerwing.
Yeah, I think he's not going to be too happy with that. I think he's just maybe just trying to, he looks a bit frustrated. So Theo puts himself into P3, just under a tenth away from Jamie. These are some incredibly close lap times. What can Camaro do? The other 3 are in the pits at the minute, so maybe they've only got the 1 tyres for this session. But wow, those top 4, just over a tenth and a half difference between the top 4, and I'm pretty sure Camaro Racer is going to get right in and amongst that as well. What can he do? What can Camaro Racer do in the Alfa Romeo? He puts himself on pole position by 2 tenths of a second, so Camaro Racer has been sandbagging all of today so far, I think, and he's really shown us right in when it matters what he can do. As a Summerwing there.
Yeah, we have seen people get into the 33s, the top end of 33, so yeah, time's still there for a lot of people. Like Diashi, who hasn't set a time yet, obviously there was a bit of a traffic, but yeah, I don't know what happened with Sammy there, whether it was lag or he just lost the rear end or whatever happened, but at least Summerwing's managed to get a time in, hopefully he can get back and it won't affect it too much. But obviously Sammy, no matter where he comes, will have a 5-place grid penalty, so
yeah, so that's to be minimum P6 for Sammy. That's if he gets pole position, which no, well, it's going to be quite hard for him to do that, I think, because he hasn't looked quite up to pace for it. But yeah, Sammy saying he had to avoid a car and lost it. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so only 7 cars have set times now, so Dylan only P7 at the end of that, and Spud only P6, so whether or not those guys only had the 1 set of tyres and just wanted to get that banker lap in, and obviously they go for that run later on. Diashi choosing to go out now on his out lap, so again, maybe he's just wanting to choose that free track over track evolution with that 1 set that he might have. So I think Diashi is going to want to try and get himself as far up that grid on pole maybe as he can.
Yeah, so obviously we're going to see the second runs of a lot of people, which usually with track evolution ends up being pole times. Camaro Racer's very, very fast time, to be fair to him, so that could be pole, but we have seen Diashi and maybe there's someone else I can't remember get into the 33s, so yeah, we'll just ride along board with Diashi just for now as he starts his, might be final lap. I don't think he'll have enough time to do 2. Maybe he's got a bit more fuel on board, but I'm sure he's got the pace in him to do a good lap now. But yeah, so obviously a lot of people in the pit's going to wait a bit longer to do their final runs, so Diashi's the only one out on track at the minute. Yeah, sorry, as
Dylan just said, he obviously uses his first set of on the scrub set for his first run.
Yeah.
Just getting that banker lap in. But yeah, it's going to be quite interesting to see how Diashi can get quite close to the top, because as Jamie coming up now for an out lap, so this is going to be Jamie's second and final run. Yeah, these guys have looked really, really close so far. Obviously, P4 to P2, literally just under a tenth, just over a tenth, sorry, ahead of between each other. Then Camaro Race obviously absolutely blew that out of the water and went 2 tenths quicker than Jamie's lap. Yeah, but there's definitely more time in that, because we have seen some drivers get into the 33s, like you just said, as Diashi has gone purple. But again, I don't know if that's just a bit of a game thing. It sometimes does it to the guy ahead of you, which would be Dylan's time. So it obviously definitely would go purple, because obviously Dylan not setting a competitive lap time on that first run. But yeah, Diashi, he's definitely had the pace so far, and I think he's going to be looking forward to next season. I think he'd probably be going into one of the favourites as long as he can get to the grips with the new game quite quickly. But yeah, where can he get in this session now in Abu Dhabi? Where can he put that Renault on the grid? I'd imagine it's close to the top. He goes on pole position. P1 just 33.9 dead. It was.
Yeah, that could be par. That's a brilliant time there. It's brilliant. I mean, obviously just over a tenth and a half quicker than Kamara Racer. So Kamara Racer and everyone else is going to have to improve. Obviously, we have to keep in mind that Sammy at the minute will start 10th with a 5-place grid penalty.
P11.
Well, P11, yeah, but in the top 10 he'll be last out of everyone. But so obviously Jamie started a lap, probably a bit smart because if everyone's coming out at the same time, we've already seen a bit of traffic, people having problems and issues. So hopefully people can keep their distance and not.
He has set a purple first sector as Jamie, just under attempts quicker than his previous run. He could be kind of smart by doing this actually, because if you catch someone on their outlap down the back straight, you could potentially get slipstream off of them.
Maybe a little turn.
Down here and on the next straight. It will have got just a bit of luck because obviously it's quite a long spaced out track, so you've got to catch it perfectly. And obviously having the 10 cars in this session, it's going to be quite difficult to plan that, unless obviously your teammate there of Summer Wing is going to help you out, but it doesn't look like that is the case. We don't usually see a lot of that in much league racing at all, really. I mean, it's just quite hard to pull off, really. It's not usually worth it too much. He's only just under a tenth up again, so he's got all of it to make up for in this third and final sector. He needs about another 2.5 attempts to get close to Diashi's time, but I'd wonder if Diashi is coming in, so I don't think he's got time maybe to put on another set, but we'll keep up to date with that. But Jamie's got to really set a prop. Oh, Diashi has retired, so that's going to be it for Diashi. He's going to have to try and hope that no one can beat that time. Jamie is obviously, as we saw at the end of the second sector, he's just under a tenth up, but he looks like he's had a really good third and final sector. He hasn't gone quite pole position, but he puts himself up to P2, still over a tenth. Just over a tenth out of the reach of Diashi's time.
Can you just change it between interval and what their lap time is, please? So he's done he's just managed to get it into the 134s, so close to the 33s, but I'm pretty sure he'll be happy with that. I mean, I think that might be top 3.
Jamie's left the session as well, so hopefully he can get back in before the race starts.
Yeah, hopefully he can, but so
Spud there was about 2 tenths up.
Still in the pits, so it doesn't look like he's going to improve his
No, I don't think he had the tyres, I'd imagine.
No, maybe there's a yellow flag, is that an...
I think it's just Sammy moving out of the way.
I think, yeah. So, so we've got a few people on a lap now. I think Dylan could definitely improve, maybe go pole.
Yeah, he's definitely going to improve on this lap. I'll try and catch him when he goes into the end of the second sector to see what he's up by. But yeah, I think Spudby could be one to watch out for as well. Let's see what he can do coming into the third and final sector. I'd imagine he's going to be definitely up on his time. How much of that is a question? 6 tenths, so that would put him on a 34.6, yes, which put him obviously P7 at the minute. Oh, he has invalidated that lap, so hopefully he's got the fuel. He will have the time, obviously, but
he hasn't got the fuel.
Yeah, his fuel light's flashing, so I think that could be it for Spud. He's only going to be at least maximum P8.
Well, he'll be P7 because Sammy's ahead, obviously.
Yeah, as it stands, but then we have got Dylan and Meaty still haven't set a lap yet. But Dylan is 4 attempts up on his time. That's he needs to be a lot more than that actually. So he's got to make it all work for in this final sector now. He's only obviously got this lap to do it. I don't think he's going to have the pace to get it on pole position. I don't think. He's going to try and get it as far up as he can. Where he's going to put it? Only P4 for the champ. So it's not too bad of a position, but he obviously would have wanted to be further up. Theo's 2 attempts up on his time. Purple middle sector as well. Summer Wing. It's also set at purple middle sectors, but I mean, I'm not actually quite sure if it's actually our purple sectors or not. Sammy's marginally up on his time, but didn't look like he got a good exit there, coming out of the chicane. Spud has retired in the pit, so that's it for Spud. Reflection
that's it.
Puts himself up to P8.
Is Meaty still on the lap?
Yeah, he is. He hasn't invalidated or anything yet.
He has got a racing point right behind him, though. I don't know if they're on a lap, sorry.
Yeah, I think
Sammy behind.
Yeah, it is Sammy, so he's obviously choosing again.
Drafting.
Oh, it's Theo's just got provisional pole. by a tenth of a second as well.
Incredible time.
Yeah, sorry,
Summer
Wings
just improved.
He's just by a tenth and a half as well. Who's coming across the line next? It'll be Meaty to come across the line next. Thears will be really happy with P2. That's an astonishing lap there from those two. Well, that's kind of thrown all the kind of the bookies. I can't even put my words out. No, he only puts himself P6. Where can Sammy put himself? I didn't actually quite catch it.
Oh my goodness!
Wow, what an exciting answer. The only P7,
Seven.
so we'll obviously be down in P13. I think P12.
Quick
with
maths.
that. With that
Summer
Sprint
Wing.
penalty. Wow.
Incredible. That's like, what was gold? Like, that's like a decent goal time, isn't it?
It wasn't quite pole.
I'm saying pole.
But yeah, that Summer Wing's pole. I think it might be his first pole position. I could be wrong.
I think it might be actually.
Pole position for Summer Wing. Theo there in P2. He's going to be really, really happy with that lap. I think he was one of the drivers to make it through on the mediums as well. Was Theo? So he's going to be a really good position to start the race. Actually, Diashi P3.
Summer Wing was on medium as well.
I think he might have been. Yeah. Diashi there in P3. But probably a bit disappointed. Same with Jamie. He had the pace all up into Q3, but didn't actually quite get it done. Only P4. Kamara Racer P5. Misi in P6. Sammy P7 with 5 place grid penalty. Dylan only in P8. The champion. Reflection in P9 and Spud there in P10. That's kind of an exciting. As Diashi has just said, yeehaw.
Oh, good.
Oh no, he's bringing up the pass again. As Jamie just said, he did a 32.8 in practice today, so he was quite far off that actually in the end. But it's all to play for in the race, so don't count your chickens yet. It's obviously still a lot way to go. Oh, that was a really exciting end to qualifying actually. I didn't think Theo kind of just brought that out of nowhere. I was quite surprised.
Incredible lap time from him, to be fair. So yeah, incredible. Theo's really shown some like development in his racecraft. I think obviously getting a win in Mexico, just showing like outright good pace, like even in qualifying. So maybe he's going to turn into like a really good contender and driver next season. So yeah, he just needs to keep that consistency up, and I'm sure he'll be up there.
Yeah, so obviously the race is about to start, but I just wanted to say before the race started, obviously it's been a pleasure to commentate on bronze this season. Obviously, I don't think me or Eton will be in the commentary box for next season. It will be back to normality with Ginger Rage up there.
Might fill in here and there, maybe.
Yeah, obviously just because of my work and everything, it's just going to be difficult to make it every week. So Ginger Rage is going to be back in the commentary box, I think, for next season. But yeah, it's been an incredible season. I just want to say thanks for the drivers for putting on a good show. It's been a really good season. I've really enjoyed it.
Emerson?
No, I'm just being nice.
Is that a tear in your eye?
No, it's just all it's my cowboy hat getting in the way. So yeah, we're going to run through the classification order. So yeah, Summerwing and Theo both there. Ginger Rage has left the session, so he's had a few internet issues kind of the last few weeks actually. So Summerwing and Theo both on the mediums there. Diashi in P3, Jamie and Kamara Race and Meaty all on the softs. Dylan there in P7 on the medium tyres. Reflection and Spud on the softs. Martsky in P10, obviously getting the position from Sammy's penalty on the mediums in P10. Chappie also selecting the mediums in P10. Sammy there obviously dropping out to P12 on the softs, and Ginger Rage on the softs as well. And then everyone down from Roscoe all the way down to Sir David in last, all on the medium tyres, looking to go for that longer first stint. Obviously no one selected on hard tyres, which I think is probably a really good strategy call from everyone. Because you just don't really need them, and you might want them if there's a safety car or something.
Yeah, those 4 soft starters on the softs, they're gonna have to get in front of those medium tyres quick to make an advantage on those softs.
Yeah, they need to get that gap. Well, they need to make a move.
Yeah, but like McLaren have had a good qualifying there, starting 1 and 4.
Yeah, I mean, whereabouts are they in the constructors?
Mid-table, so they could jump Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, well, they could at least get 5th, I think, if they have a really, really good race, and Renault have a bit of a shocker. But I can't see that happening. But yeah, they could definitely get Alfa Romeo and jump up to P6, which is definitely what they'll be looking for.
Yeah, just bragging rights, and it's just something to drive for.
Yeah.
As well as your own personal...
Jamie's just backing up the whole pack now.
Oh, got a bit ghosting.
Yeah, obviously the game's just taking control now as both McLarens have decided to become one.
What strategy there? So they're predicting is it like a 4-stop? No, 3-stop there, but there's 4 different tyre changes there. That's a bit weird. But yeah, so hopefully this is going to be a good last race of the season.
Yeah, all the cars are just getting up to the grid now, forming up for the very last time on F1 2020, and the last time this season. in bronze. So the lights are going, but obviously we always just have a bit of a desync. So obviously see those revs building on Summer Wing steering wheel. That's when the lights would be going out shortly. As they're building now with an we're already away. Well, it's already a really quick start as Theo's got the jump on Summer Wing going into turn 1. No, hold it. But Summer Wing's kept the outside line. There's a yellow flag.
Yellow flag. What's happened?
Chappie's retired from the session.
We've had someone go off Chappie's crash,
and he's got a 5-second penalty as well. There's a couple of penalties back there, but Summer Wing does keep the lead. So yeah, Chappie is out. So that's going to be good for McLaren in the Constructors' Championship. Ginger Ray just dropped down all the way down to P19.
Has he got wing damage?
I can't quite. I think he has. Yeah. No, I don't think he has.
I think he just caught up in the traffic.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened. We didn't really get a good angle of it, but that was.
I mean, 3 people have got.
Oh, it's only penalties. A virtual safety car actually.
3 people have got penalties already.
Well, that was a really good start from Theo. He just couldn't quite get it done. I'm going to presume that the virtual safety car has now ended. No drive-through penalties or anything, which is really good to see. So we kind of had a bit of we had always Jamie got really close to the rear end of Theo that almost went into the back of the McLaren. Wanted to get really nice. He's had a really good exit though. Theo got a really poor exit off the chicane, but Jamie's really made the advantage of those soft tyres now, and he's got past Theo, has he? Yes, he has, going into the chicane. He's made the move stick, so the McLarens are 1 and 2, which is exactly what they need actually to get that position in the Constructors' Championship.
There'll be some teamsmanship between them though.
Yeah, is Summer Wing gonna let Jamie through if he gets on the rear end of him, because of the soft tyres will have the pace towards the first few laps, but obviously then the mediums will come to it. So Ginger Raid's obviously all the way down there at the bottom in P19. Chappie obviously having a bit of an incident on the first corner. Meaty's jumped up to P5. Sammy jumped up a few positions there. Marsky jumped up a position. Dylan lost a position actually, so Dylan not having a really good start to the race, but still a long way to go. As it is, Roscoe's just made a move on Shadders around the outside as Shadders coming into pits, so maybe Shadders got caught up with Chappie because he is now in the pits, as is Crystal Maze, as is Booty Delight, so there might have been a few drivers getting a bit caught up with that, as that's going to be 2 AlphaTauri, so Booty Delight is going to have the long old wait there in the pit lane, as Crystal Maze is frozen. Oh, he had a 5-second penalty, I think, maybe. He was one of the ones to it. But now the McLarens are 1 and 2, and then they go back to the front, as DRS obviously won't get able to the next lap.
Summer Wings has got good pace for these mediums.
Yeah, he's not got quite out the second yet, but Jamie's looking. Well, yeah, he's struggling to get on the back of him. But Diashi's looking right on the back of Theo with those soft tyres. He has almost gone into the back of him. He did really well to avoid him there. From both of them there, they got out of the way of each other, I think. But now Diashi's really compromised himself. Meaty's had a really good run out of the chicane, and he's right on the back of.
What's happened to Sammy?
He's had a bit of a spin, I think, out of the exit there. But they try and get back on the back of these two, as Meaty did try and make a move on Diashi, but he didn't quite get it done. Ginger Ray just jumped up into P12. I don't know where that's come from.
I think a lot of people pitted, and he's made some.
Oh yeah, that's a good point actually. I forgot about that. Has someone spun? Meaty's had a bit of an incident there. It's all going on. We're having a really bit of a messy race these first few laps. Everyone needs to get their heads down. But Meaty's now dropped down to P5, and Ginger Rage there up into P12 now. So from those few people obviously having to pit earlier on, there's quite a few people that have benefited quite a lot. As Spud has got a penalty as well. I don't know if that's a 5-second. I'm just going to have a check. I'm still not used to these telemetry. Yeah, it is a 5-second penalty there from Spud, so he will have to serve that in one of his pit stops, which is going to cost him a lot of time. Sammy already picks up a 3-second time penalty as well, but Diashi really needs to get a move on Theo ASAP and get it done. I just need to take a bit of a breather. It's kind of a mental.
Yeah, Sammy's in the pit, so he must have got damage. Oh, there's
Ginger Rage.
Oh no.
He's lost his wing.
What has happened there?
Oh, I think he's just caught the curb, potentially.
Oh, he's cutting the corners as well.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot he can really do with the no front wing. That's a really bit of a shame there for Ginger Rage.
If he spun it himself, that's what happened to me, but it's going to be a long lap going around with no front wing there, so...
Yeah, it's
stick on the hard, hope for a safety car later.
Jamie did get past Summer Wing. I don't know if that was team oriented or anything, but Jamie is now in the lead of the race, and Summer Wing is in P2, closely folled by Theo. So Theo's got some really good pace on those medium tyres, and I think Summer Wing's going to want to try and hold him up as much as he possibly can, so his teammate can kind of maybe get a bit of a gap going. It's good that both McLarens are on alternative strategies, because they both won't get held up in the pits unless it's a safety car or anything. But Theo needs to make a move on Summer Wing if he wants to try and maybe challenge him. But he will have the tyre advantage towards the end of the race. So Theo playing the long game, obviously being on those mediums. Diashi's just sitting behind these guys quite comfortably, maybe letting them do their thing. Maybe hoping to pick up some penalties from the guys ahead of him and everything. Yeah, so everyone's kind of stretching it out a little bit now and kind of getting the. Yeah, kind of getting in their own. They kind of got like 3 or 4 little packs going on at the minute. Ginger Rage still hasn't quite made it to the pit yet. It's a really, really long lap with no front wing. Obviously happening really early on in the lap as well. You're going to see him probably drop down all the way down to the back, unfortunately, I think, with a wing change.
Yeah, just put on the hards and wait for the safety car.
Yeah, let's see what he's going to do. I don't think there's going to be any overtaking quite yet. I'll have a quickly jump back to the front, actually. Theo does look like he is quite close, actually. He's using a lot of his battery, though, and Summerwing does have a lot more, so Theo might want to just maybe hold back a little, but yeah, Ginger Rage, what's he going to put on? He's going for the medium, so he's definitely going to have to try and stop again at some point. As Dylan gets past Kamara Racer, and he's up to P6 now, is the world champion. As that was Spud there, getting really, really squirrely on the exit. But now Summer Wing is right on the rear end of his teammate, so I think he might be getting a little bit frustrated that he has let his teammate through, or if he did overtake him or whatever happened. Dylan now is making a move on Spud, but Spud makes a move back and takes the ball on with him, but that was quite a clean move there. He did the switch back on Dylan. Maybe Dylan went a little bit deep and tried to carry a little bit too much speed going into the chicane, as Roscoe picks up a 3-second time penalty. So Dylan there tried to try and make the move on Spud, but Spud got the position back. Now Summer Wing is still behind his teammate on the medium tyres, and now the softs will start to probably lose a bit of their grip now. So the mediums will just probably start to get a little bit faster in the coming laps. So Summer Wing, I wouldn't be chappy, has left the session obviously after that lap 1 incident. I'm not surprised that he hasn't decided to stick around and spectate. What's the gap to the leader? Someone asking. That is a gap to the leader there for you.
5 tenths. Half a second, so he needs to get I don't know who he's on about, but I was just saying between the 2 teammates here, it's very close. Maybe the lap 5, the softs are starting to lose pace now.
Summer Wing there is, he's really on the back of his teammate now. Jimmy not using the RS now, so I'm going to presume he's going to let his teammate through. Yeah, he's not going to make it too difficult for him, I don't think. As Sammy picks up another 3-second time penalty, already on lap 5, he's on 6 seconds worth of penalties. Dylan there, get into P5, Summer Wing now in the lead of the race. Jamie hitting the curb quite there, now he's under pressure from Theo, but Jamie will have the DRS. He's not got a lot of batteries to play with, but nor has Theo. So I don't think Theo will have the pace to try and get past him just yet. I think Theo's going to have to maybe sit and wait a few laps. Unfortunately for Summer Wing, maybe to break out of the DRS, and then he could probably try and make a move as Spud gets past Dylan. So Spud's doing a really good defensive job there. Dylan did get the move done, but he obviously, if you do it on that first DRS zone, you then have another one to try and defend from. So you kind of want to get it done in that second DRS zone and then try and use a third sector to try and break out of that 1 second gap, or at least get a gap big enough that they can't make the move then again in those 2 DRS zones. But Spud's doing a really good job of keeping the champ behind him, so fair play to Spud there. On those soft tyres, he's obviously starting to lose a little bit of grip now, but he's putting up a fight there, which Dylan's going to be a bit frustrated by, because the likes of Theo and Summer Wing, as well as Jamie, obviously Jamie being on the different strategy to Dylan, are just starting to walk away a little bit. He's got a bit of a gap forming as Diashi's now kind of broken a little bit back off of these guys. I'm really hungry actually. I don't know why, I've just got really, really hungry all of a sudden.
Okay.
As Kamara Racer now gets past Spud, so I think Spud...
Big train down here.
As Dylan is now closing up on Diashi, obviously having now the tyre advantage that they've started to drop off a bit. But Theo is looking really, really close to the rear end of Jamie, but he's not quite kicking quick enough because Jamie's still got the DRS. As Dave picks up a 3-second time penalty as Theo gets super close to the rear diffuser of the McLaren. But Jamie's still really close to the back of his teammate as well, so he's getting the slipstream and the DRS from his teammate. So it was really, really tactical play there from the two McLarens. I don't know if they are communicating with each other in a party or whatnot, but they're doing a perfect race at the minute. So hats off to those two. They're really, really working together to try and maximise the points for McLaren in this final race of the season. You've got to give it to them. They're doing a really, really good job. They had a really strong qualifying, getting pole position from Summer Wing, Jamie in P4, but they've really, really asserted their dominance in the first stint of this race. Theo's just, he's getting so frustrated up behind Jamie because I think he does have the pace with the tyres at the minute, with the softs kind of dropping off a little bit. But he just can't get it done because of the DRS and the slipstream from Jamie's teammate of Summer Wing. I've got to take a breath. As Diashi gets a 3-second time penalty, unfortunately, so that's going to cost him towards the end of the race. I think Dylan is still not quite near the back end of him. Yeah, as Mushroom said, the mediums were definitely the right choice, I think. There's a yellow flag there. Is that for Spud? Yes, it is. Spud has gone off on the very last corner, and he has got wing damage, so he's got a whole lap now to get back to the pits. According to AWS, I don't know if anyone, well, in real life, we know how unreliable AWS is, as I have heard that in the new game, we do have a new graphic powered by AWS, which will tell the spectator how much tyre wear a driver has, which we're not sure if will actually be accurate or whatnot. But we're kind of another new feature that we're going to have.
It probably won't be accurate, it'll probably be completely the opposite.
Yeah, they'll tell us that it's in puncture territory when it's just pitted or something. But Vintage now gets past Spud with that damage. So Vintage, after having a bit of an unlucky qualifying up into the points, as Theo does get past Jamie now, sorry, he does make the move stick, does he? Yes, he does. So Theo's now in P2, so these two guys, Theo and Summer Wing, are now fighting for the race win. They're out in front on the medium tyres, so they're on the optimum strategy as well. Now they want to go long, probably to about lap 12s, where they can put on softs and then go for a one stint, and then they can put a lap probably about 20, 21 for another set of soft, and then go to the end. Yeah, obviously not seeing the safety car or anything, yeah, only that virtual safety car at the very beginning, but Theo and Summer Wing, not two names that you would usually assert with winning races in bronze. I don't think either of them have got a race win. Theo's been on the podium a couple of times.
Theo's won a race.
Oh, has he?
In Mexico.
Oh. Well, I'd actually...
Jamie's won a race in Brazil, and Summer Wing is reserved in it. So
so Jamie is now pitting on lap 8, so a little bit early for the mediums, although obviously AWS telling us that he is obviously in the pit window, but he probably would have wanted to go a little bit longer. I presume he's probably going to do softs, mediums, I'd imagine. So Marsky now up into P4 with a couple of pit stops going on there. Kamara Racer in the pits as Spud gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pits, as he has retired in the pits as well, unfortunately.
Oh, that's a shame.
He was having a good race up until that mistake that he had. He was having a really good battle with the champ of Dylan, who is now to P3 with the pit stops and everything that are going on. Sammy picks up another 3-second time penalty. He's up to 9 already, is Sammy. So he's
We've got 20 laps left as well, so if that carries on then...
Yeah, he's going to have a lot of penalty. He is making a move, though, on Crystal Maze. He pushes him a little bit of argy-bargy there between the two drivers. But Sammy does make a move up into P13. Ginger Age in P17 now. He's kind of just trying to claw his way back in this race somehow. He needs a safety car ready to get a proper over, as does Booty Delight. He's all the way down at the back. But going back to the leaders now, Summer Wing and Theo, they're still battling it out. These guys have not been separated by a lot, even in qualifying and in the race. They've been nip and tuck throughout all the quali and even in the race. They're literally neck and neck coming into the final sector as Crystal Maze retakes past Sammy. So yeah, he's obviously used that DRS as Sammy really mounts the curb there. And he will have the DRS now going down the second straight.
He's lucky not to jump into the Ferrari.
Yeah, I don't think he is quite close enough to make a move unless he makes a massive Danny Rick dive bomb. He's going to look for it. Yeah, he's going to go for it. As they do make contact. Yeah, and it does force Crystal Maze to cut the corner.
And Sammy's lost the position from that.
Yeah, he lost the position to Shadows. And
he's gone wide. What's going on from there?
I don't know if he's got any damage. Sammy, no, I don't think he does, but he definitely, if that was the new game, he would have got side pod damage. Obviously, that is a new feature that is going to be on the new game. There's going to be a lot more damage, kind of.
Oh boy!
That's vintage. I thought it was Kira for a second. Yeah, he's not lost too many positions, but yeah, it's a bit of a shame there for Vintage. He was running quite nicely, quite high on the points. Sammy picks up another 3-second time penalty. He's up to 12 now. Still a long way to go in the race, and he's already picked up quite a lot of penalties. So I think he just needs to calm down a little bit, does Sammy, and just kind of settle down a little bit. Yeah, sorry, I just need to take a breath of non-stop. I don't know how Ginger Ray does it 4 days, well, 3 days in a row. He's going to be doing it 4 days in a row next season. So yeah, Theo's just can't quite get past Summer Wing. Summer Wing's maybe just running a little bit of a slipperier setup, and he's looking quite a bit of a menace in the straight lines. Dylan, obviously, not quite. He's 6 seconds off the back of these guys, so he's not quite the pace of the guys at the front. But he is slowly.
He has already won the championship, but
yeah, he is slowly kind of.
He's looking at maybe all right to get a podium here because obviously the softer tyres at the end will have an advantage.
Yeah, definitely.
So whether he's double stopping or what, we'll find out.
Jamie's coming to come out, and
Sammy's lost another position. I think he's trying to battle Shadows there.
Yeah, these three are really. Oh, is Sammy?
Oh, he's cut the corner. So I don't know what Sammy's having a nightmare here.
Yeah, but yeah, Jamie's come out in quite a nice position there in his kind of little world, a little bit of free space, which is exactly what he needs to do to try and make this undercut work. Obviously, starting on those softs, he's now got a few laps fresher mediums, the likes of Theo and.
What was the yellow flag?
I think that could be for Williams. I'm not quite sure. I don't know what happened.
Who knows? But.
Yeah, so Jamie's obviously got those fresher softs now that he needs to make it count. He could actually come out probably ahead of Theo and Summer Wing, I would imagine, because he's probably got like 3 or 4 lap undercut on those guys. But obviously then we'll have
Diashi's got 3 seconds now.
Another one that is. He's on 6 seconds now is Diashi. As Theo has got past Summer Wing, but I think Summer Wing could always. They do make contact. There's no damage or anything. I don't think. Only a little kind of slight knock. But Theo now is going to become under pressure because Summer Wing will have the DRS as he doesn't move to the inside as Theo pushes him really tightly. Not too harshly, but Summer Wing retakes the lead. That's exactly what I was talking about. You don't really want to make it stick on that first straight. You kind of want to wait for the second one. I think Sammy's dropped down. He's got damage again. Has Sammy? So he's just going to nightmare.
Oh, maybe they've come together.
Yeah, I think you're right. Shadows and Sammy are probably come together. I'd imagine because they both got damage. As Booty Delight gets a 5 seconds time penalty for speeding in the pits. So Sammy got damage and his Booty has retired from the session. It's a shame there to see from Booty Delight. He had a pretty good season, I'd imagine, but yeah, he's in the relegation zone, so he's unfortunately not going to make it out. So that's going to be Booty Delight being relegated down into COBALT for next season. That's quite unfortunate for him.
Yeah, he's had a good season, qualifying especially. He's had some really good time, especially in Mexico. I remember him getting into the top 10 and that. So I'm sure like COBALT might be more his pace and he'll do good there. So.
Yeah, so Chris Amazing cut the alibi here.
Oh, Roscoe's in the pits, yeah, and who's at Marvsky, so they're going on to the mediums now.
Yeah, as Diashi's...
Have they double mediumed, or were they on softs?
Marvsky was on mediums, so then obviously they go for the...
Medium soft, okay.
Yes.
Interesting. I mean, obviously you kind of want to change compound as soon as you can, so if there is a safety car, you're free of options, really, but it might work out. I mean, having those softs at the end are definitely going to be the fastest option. I think you saw it in Silver, where those soft you can just gain so much time in a lap compared to the people on like mediums and hards even. So yeah, Diashi obviously suffered from some penalties with Meaty, who's somewhat good distance behind, but they are on similar lap old tyres, so I think Diashi just needs to put some rubber down. I think yeah, it's going to be tough for him to get any better than 5th, I'd say, but you know, 5th is a good position still for him. So it's a decent point still, so sure he'll fight for that. Yeah, so Dave's also having a pretty decent race now, and obviously hasn't pitted yet in 10th. Seeing that, he's just made a move on Reflection. I don't know if Reflection's... Yeah, he has just made a move.
Oh, wow, yeah. As Reflection just picks up a 3-second time penalty for... Oh, as the Ferrari Roscoe just does go into the back of him.
Don't think he got any damage, though, so...
No, he just did give him a slight little nudge, though. But the battle at the top is still so close. These guys just... They're so matched on pace that it's just in a couple... Well, I'm sorry, I actually completely missed that. Summer Wing has picked up a 3-second time penalty. So, realistically, all Theo does now is not all he's always got to do to get the win at the end. Well, potentially.
Maybe Jamie's got the undercut on them, though.
Yeah, well, he could do, actually. That's a good point. But these guys are probably coming at the end of this lap, I imagine. But Theo could just sit behind Summer Wing now for the rest of the race. If he doesn't pick any more penalties up, and he will jump him now that Summer Wing's picked up that 3-second time penalty. Reflection gets past Sir Dave. But Theo could play this quite smart. He's used up all of his battery there. He's still going to want to get it done. He does a... Oh, as they go again! And Summer Wing is out, and Theo's lost most of his front wing. As I think Summerwing did move a little bit.
He
did make a little, maybe a bit of a move a little bit too late. But that's an absolute disaster for the two. They're having a really good race up to that point. So we've had a bit of a messy race. Sammy is retired from the race as well. Theo's now going to have to come in for a wing change, but luckily it is on his it's in his pit stop window. But he's going to lose a lot of time.
They're having such a good battle, but I think Summerwing just made a defensive move there. And the two of them just come together. The barrier's closing. Oh, what a shame there.
But this is the champ of Dylan now. He's up into P2. I know Jamie's obviously has made the pit stop and Dylan hasn't yet. But Dylan is going to be in. Well, he's in P2 at the minute.
Jamie's probably net P1, but Jamie's going to be happy. Obviously, well, not obviously happy his teammates out, but happy in terms of he's probably favourite for the win now.
There's still a long way to go, but
there is. But
hopefully we don't see Theo retire in the pits because there's still a long way to go, and I think Theo could still get a big haul of points.
Yeah, he can double soft it to the end now, and he's got good pace. So
he has obviously lost a lot of time. Obviously, going to have to go half a lap without a front wing, and
pitted earlier than he probably wanted to.
No, he's from the mediums. Is bang on. Unless Dylan, I think Dylan could be going for the one stop here. You know, he's not pitted and he's done. He's on to the 13th lap now. So I think he's going to try and go for the one stop, which I don't think anyone else is really going to try and do. But Theo does drop all the way down. I think he's going to come out just behind his teammate in P11. So that's really quite unfortunate for Theo. He was in such a good position for the win. Oh, that's gutting for Theo. Oh. Yeah, as Mushroom said, that was really bad, but it was great for Dylan. Yeah, it was really good. Well, good for Dylan, but obviously bad incident to have there. Obviously, already seen 5 drivers retire from the session. Ginger Rage up P14 now, so he's really benefited from these guys retiring, but he's sticking at it, and that's exactly why we don't like to see people retire in the pits, because you never know what could happen. I'm surprised there's no safety car from that or anything. So it'd be interesting to see what Dylan does now, because Jamie's already within 2 seconds of Dylan, and Dylan obviously hasn't stopped yet. Jamie has from the softs, so Dylan is basically a pit stop behind pretty much Jamie, kind of, essentially, maybe not quite. I don't really know, the strategy is quite confusing around here. So it'd be interesting to see if we do see Dylan box this lap. If he doesn't, I'll probably imagine he's going to try and go for the one stop, which is a bit unorthodox. Yeah, he is staying out, so I think he's going to try and go probably lap. Well, he could probably pit this lap actually and go on the hards, do 14 on the hards. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Actually, I'm not quite sure why a lot of people don't do that. I mean, obviously, the 2 stop is probably quicker, I'd imagine. That's what Jeff tells us, and Jeff always does right. Yeah, definitely.
What lap would he need to get these mediums to, do you think?
Well, now, I mean, he's done 14 on them, there's obviously 14 laps to go, so realistically, if it wasn't the rule to switch compound, he could go medium to the end now, but he can obviously definitely easily make the hards to the end now. Unless he's going to try a one-stop from medium to the softs. Yeah, I think maximum 13, so he's going to have to at least get to lap 17-ish. Well, no, sorry, my maths is atrocious. He could probably do one more lap, maybe lap 15, 16 on the mediums, and to go to the softs and do the one-stop. But Jamie didn't quite make the move done there. But he probably will get the move done now. Yeah, he's got the grip advantage, and he will have the slipstream, DRS, rich mix. He's turned everything at full whack, and he's got past Dylan. But Dylan's obviously playing the long game with the strategy, maybe trying to do the one less stop to Jamie to make up ground that way. Theo does make up a position now up into P9, but that just shows how much time he's lost, because he was fighting Jamie. He was fighting Jamie, and Jamie's obviously out in the lead at the minute, and Theo's all the way down to P9. So he has the pace, so there's still a long way to go. I think he's got to put his head down. He's got to really go for it now. And there's 14 laps left in this race. Yeah, there's still a long way to go, so still a lot to play for. Dylan's still staying out, so I think he is definitely going for that one stop. He's going to want to put on those softs. So he's shown us how good he is on his tyres.
Obviously, a safety car could seriously mess up Dylan or anyone's race here now. They might benefit him, but I think Dylan's strategy, I mean, obviously if there's a safety car now, he's quids in, you can put on the softs, but if he puts on the softs and a couple laps later there is another safety car, he's a bit stuffed.
As Gurman just said in the comments, Jamie's loving it in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, he's well, apparently he's sitting there driving, saying yeehaw. So I think he's trying to take a little bit of the mickey there as Gurman. But we do love a bit of banter in the comments, don't we? But Jamie's already got a 3-second advantage over Dylan now. I'm not quite sure how much.
Well, is Diashi sorry making a move?
Diashi's made the move, yeah. So obviously Dylan now is really struggling and losing a lot of pace on those medium tyres that have done 14 laps. But obviously he's just trying to get that one stop to work. I think that's exactly what he's trying to do. So fair play to him for trying that. It's a bit, yeah, like I said, it's a bit unorthodox kind of way of going around this race. But you never know. I mean, it's worth a shot, I suppose. Try and jump up a few positions by doing your own thing. I know you're only joking, German, don't worry. I'm sure I'll get back at you next season or something on track, or maybe you'll say something of your own where I can start taking the bit of the mick. As Roscoe's got those, they're really fighting actually, as they're mounting the curbs, but Roscoe keeps position, I think. I'm not quite sure who was ahead at the start of that move. But yeah, there's quite a good battle there between these two. Roscoe and Marsky, really good racers. We've seen them throughout the season having a really good fights up and down the grid. Vintage now just gets past Crypto Galloway on 12-lap old hard tyres.
Well, Roscoe and Marsky are fighting for the promotional spot, to be fair.
As Meaty's now in the pits, so he's probably going to put on another set of mediums, I imagine. Yes, he is. As Kamara Racer is now jumped up to P4. As Dylan's still staying out, so he's 15 laps now. 16, he's on to lap 16 on the medium, so he's surely going to have to come in this lap or next lap. His tyres must be absolutely screaming now, because he's got up to about 6 seconds now to Jamie. Well, usually about a pit stop is about at least 20 seconds. I'm not exactly sure how much it is, but that's probably the gap that Dylan needs to jump Jamie in the pit stops and everything after Jamie, because he probably will have to stop again. Well, Jamie, I don't think those mediums can get him to the end here, unless he can stretch him. What is it? Another 12 laps? No, there's no way he's not making those to the end there. So Jamie obviously will have to stop again, definitely. Same with Diashi.
So I think Dylan, with only 3 seconds behind, if he pits somewhat soon, which he probably will within the next lap or two, probably maybe even this lap. I mean, the other people's softs will be faster at the end, but
he will have a lot of ground to make up, though. I would imagine he probably comes out behind Sir Dave. In between Sir Dave and Vintage, you'd probably imagine.
Maybe,
probably around there, maybe even behind Vintage, potentially. Yeah, so, as Mushroom kind of pointed out, that Jamie is probably going to pit for softs at the end. So it's going to be quite hard for Dylan to fight at the end of the race, because Jamie will have the tyre advantage. As he's going to come in now, he's obviously going to put on those softs now, but yeah, Jamie's probably not going to pit in too long either. Well, he can come in now, really realistically, if he wanted to, and just cover off Dylan, but he might as well stay up for a few laps, because he's still got a lot of life left in those tyres. And he will have the tyre advantage towards the end of the race. So it's not quite over yet for the race win, but Jamie probably is looking at a net lead at the minute, because Diashi does have those. I think he's got 2 penalties, but Kamara Racer's sitting quite comfortably there in P3. But now Dylan's got to show us what he can do and why he is champion. He comes out in P9 just behind Meaty, so it's not a whole lot of cars to overtake actually, but obviously he will gain a lot of those, because Meaty won't have to stop again. Theo probably will have to stop again, I imagine. He's definitely probably going to have to stop again. Reflections have to stop again. Marsky could potentially stretch those. Same with Roscoe, but they probably want to perform more for the softs. Kamara, Diashi and Jamie are all definitely going to have to stop again. So Dylan will jump a lot of positions, but then those guys will have fresher softs towards the end and probably be tackling him towards the latter stages of the Grand Prix. But he's probably going to make a move on Meaty now. I'd imagine he's on fresh softs. He's got really, really grippier tyres compared to the Red Bull. I can't imagine he's going to fight this too hard with Meaty. He's probably going to, look, he's just moving out of the way. Smart there from him to not fight it too hard. So he's already up to P8, so it's now a bit of a traffic. Well, he's just got to put some solid laps in now. Has Dylan? I think he's probably going to at least want a podium from this, which is definitely doable. So I wonder what lap we're going to see the likes of Diashi and Jamie pit for another set of softs. Probably in about 4 laps. 3 laps, 2 laps. I'd probably imagine they'll probably come in. I think we're going to be a little bit of an interesting end to the race. Hopefully we don't see any safety cars or anything, because it's quite a bit up in the air now which strategy will come out on top. and that will definitely ruin Dylan's strategy because he hasn't got the track position as it stands, unless it comes out once the other guys ahead of him pit. As Mushroom said, he thinks that the top 3 are nailed on. I think he could potentially be right, but Dylan could maybe wiggle in maybe P3 because there's quite a big gap between Diashi and Kamaro, which I could potentially see Dylan maybe slotting into quite nicely as Crystal Maze has made a move on Shadows. Shadows coming into the pits after 14 laps on those medium tyres. A really nice stint there from him. Not giving up on it, to be fair to him. He's going to slap on those soft tyres now and do one final stint of the race. As that is a yellow flag there. Cryptic Galabai has done exactly what you did, Edson. Like you said, he's clipped the curb, I think, and gone into the wall. I don't know if he has got any damage, but he's done 15 laps on those hard tyres. We're not going to see a safety car or anything, which is quite lucky.
Roscoe's got another 3-second time penalty. Marvsky's just got him, I think. That was somewhat recently. So, yeah, battle for the promotional spot. Marvsky's got the advantage with no penalties and track position now. Both on the pit the same lap, so Marvsky's looking likely to go up to silver. Yeah, I think Marvsky, he's definitely silver worthy. I think I think once he does have time to put the practice in, I think he's definitely got the pace to be up there. Maybe not the top of silver yet. Well, it could be anything with the new game and everything, but he's definitely going to be a shout for definitely consistent points. He'd be a really good teammate to have. He always never gives up. He's kind of like Dylan in that sense that they always give it their best, always show up every week as well. Always put in a solid 10 out of 10 performance. Yeah, he's a really good guy to have part of the Renault team this season. He's definitely helped contribute towards the Renault being the joint constructors champions as well. So hats off to him and Diashi obviously this season, and the Renaults in bronze. They've done a really stellar job to pick up a lot of points in the short season that we've had. Yeah, so Vintage now, he's up into P10, so he is in the points, but he's got 20 seconds gap now to Meaty ahead of him. So Meaty obviously does have a few penalties, so Vintage could potentially want to get on the back of him, but I don't think he's going to make it to the end on those softs. So you probably will have to make another pit stop, which could see him drop out the points towards the end. As Ginger Rage is now coming in for his last pit stop. Is that another front wing change, I think? Yes, it is. So I think he did pick up some damage there. So Ginger Rage hasn't had an amazing end to the race. So I don't think he's going to jump up any positions in the championship. And I don't think he's going to drop down either any. Sorry, he's not going to drop down either any. So 13th in the championship for Ginger Rage as it stands. Which I don't think he's going to be too disappointed with. Because there was a couple of times where he obviously did have to step in for us in Russia. When obviously the commentary... When did Sammy DNF?
He retired in the pits.
Oh, I didn't see that, sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Ginger Rain's had quite a good season. Obviously, he does definitely prefer it in the commentary box. Does Ginger Rage, but yeah, hats off to him. He's had obviously got that P2 the week that on my birthday that I wasn't here. He obviously decided to have an astonishing race when I wasn't about. So thanks for that, Ginger Rage, I appreciate that. Yeah, he's obviously going to be back in the commentary box as of next season. I don't think he's going to be taking part in racing unless there's a week that me or Etten are both free, and then we might step in, and unless he wants to have a little bit of a go on track or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens, I suppose. But yeah, Jamie and Diashi are probably closing in on their pit windows, I'd imagine. Theo is right on the back of Reflection now, so Theo's he's P7 to be fair to him. After what's happened, he's put himself right in amongst the points again, as Roscoe, has just got past Marvsky, but they're right neck and neck with each other coming down the second straight. Roscoe does have the DRS, and he's going around the outside, he's made the move stick. So Roscoe has the position, but he doesn't have any penalties, as Theo has got past Reflection as well. Up into P6 now as Theo. Again, I don't think he's going to get those tyres to the end, unfortunately. So he will have to stop again. But he's doing a really good job to kind of recover from that incident that he did have with Summer Wing. So Theo's done a really good job to not give up and kind of just get on with his race despite what's happened. It's a real shame because I think he could have been in for the win with Jamie. So Diashi and Jamie both in the pits now, talking of those two. Yeah, so they're both going to go on sort of soft tyres now.
And see where Dylan comes out, because he's only on 2 lap softs.
3 once he crosses the line.
Now, yeah.
So he will obviously take the lead, I think, of the net lead, because obviously there's a few guys ahead of him.
It's not that much difference. Obviously Theo's on 7 lap soft, so But he struggled. I don't think he'll be able to get these to the end, obviously, will he? So he'll go on
The
softs
gap isn't
again.
actually that big. Jamie's literally just coming out the exit of the pit lane there. You didn't quite see it in the background. He's literally only one car between Dylan and Jamie. So, yeah, they're going to be super tight towards the end of the race.
Yeah, those 3 lap tyre difference maybe at the end of the race could be pivotal, but yeah, it's just going to be a weird one. Theo's just got Marski, so Theo's currently leading the race. He's going to have to pit again though.
Jamie has got past Meaty already, so he's already on the back of Dylan, the champion. So Jamie's just having an incredible race so far. The fact he's already could potentially overtaking the champion in this race. He's just shown how well he's had. He did that, like I said earlier on. He had a bit of a dodgy start to this season, but once he kind of got his head down the last 3 or 4 races, he's definitely picked up a lot of decent points.
Yeah, he's had some good results, especially I think Monza in Italy. He got his first podium. Brazil obviously won, and then he's looking like he's at least going to get a podium here, if not the race win.
I think he's in for the race win. He's, like I said, he's right on the back of Dylan now. He's on fresher tyres, so he's got everything going for him. As long as he doesn't really pick up a penalty or anything, and he can. Well, if he does, he's definitely got the pace to.
Oh, he almost lost it there. I think he might be putting a bit too much pressure on himself and wanting to get this done quickly so he can just sort of like speed ahead. But he does sort of need to do it quickly just so he can gain that advantage. Because who else is? I mean, Diashi's on somewhat fresh softs. Obviously, he's like a couple of seconds behind them, but
as Marski's in the pits now, he's putting on the soft compound tyres. So now Reflection there in P12. Sorry, he's on 12 lap-old tyres. He's in P2, but he's got Dylan and Jamie. As we just saw a bit of damage there. Jamie's got end plate damage. He just went into the back of Dylan.
Yeah, I think he was being a bit too aggressive. He wanted to get this done, which you're not going to do through that chicane. So you just need to be careful and be patient on the straight. So surely he's just going to have to like.
That could cost Jamie the win there, unless he does have the pace. We've got a rubbish camera angle here. As he's going to get past Reflection, coming down into the chicane now. But he obviously does have, that's a lot of wing damage to have, so he's going to lose a lot of pace. But he does have the tyre advantage, so whether or not he can make it count now and get ahead of Dylan while he's got the tyres, he can. But he said whether or not now, if he has the pace in the first and the third sector with that wing damage to keep Dylan behind, I'd be surprised if he can. But it's going to be really interesting to enter this, the race now.
Catching as well. He needs to get past Reflection and Meaty on these mediums.
Yeah, I think Diashi could be favourite now. Well, he does have the 2 penalties, I think. So Diashi needs to really get a wiggle on.
Yeah, Dylan hasn't got any, of course.
No, so it's going to be close, I think.
I think Jamie just has to bite and grit this out and just stick with the damage, because pit now, it's going to be races over, really.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to catch this lot. So let's see what he does. He does stay out. So yeah, it's now a matter of fact if he can keep Dylan, who does have older tyres. So Jamie has a tyre advantage, but he's got the wing damage. So with 5 laps to go now, 6 laps to go in the race, it's all to play for. So Dylan there's a lot of strategies going on. So we've got Jamie on fresh softs, but with wing damage. We've got Dylan in a P2 with older soft tyres doing the one-stop strategy, but no wing damage. But obviously the tyre difference will be huge. And then we've got Diashi on fresh softs, but with a couple cars between them, and he has 6 seconds worth of penalties. So he needs to get past these 2 guys. He needs to get himself amongst those 2 guys ahead of him if Diashi wants any chance of winning this race. Oh, so this could be a really exciting end to the race now.
Of course, Theo's going to have to pit soon, but he's obviously Jamie and Dylan is catching him now.
This could help Jamie potentially if Jamie gets ahead of Theo. We've got a yellow flag there. Crystal Maze has retired.
Is that going to bring out a safety car?
It could do. No. Yes, it. Oh my God. So Theo now is laughing because he is now back in the lead of the race, and then I presume that we're going to probably see everyone pit under this safety car.
Oh yeah.
You'd be surprised.
Maybe Dylan won't.
No, I think he probably will.
Diashi probably won't because he's got somewhat fresh tyres.
Yeah, Diashi.
He's going to be gaining massive advantage.
Yeah, but he does have those penalties, so everyone's going to be bunched up.
True.
Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting. The kind of
Crystal Maze gone off.
Turn 1, 2, 3 it was. So again, we've seen a lot of incidents going down the hill there. Maybe probably just caught a little bit too much curb. So yeah, a lot of DNFs in the final race of the season and of F1 2020. So Theo is going to box.
This
Jamie's staying out with the wing damage.
Oh my goodness, okay.
Dylan's staying out as well.
That is a
Meaty's
shot.
staying out. Diashi's staying out. Reflection's
Theo's
coming
obviously
in.
has to pit.
Yeah, Theo's come in.
This is good for Ginger Age, Shadows and the like, because they're at the back anyway.
Yeah, they have already boxed under the safety car. They've been able to pass it as well. So I'm quite surprised Jamie stayed out with wing damage.
That is surprising. He obviously wants this win badly, but he's going to get swamped by everyone behind. Surely.
I mean, he doesn't have any penalties, so he's got that in his advantage, I suppose. And
is he trying to pass the safety car?
No, the grid is quite spaced out. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see it out for 2 laps. So it could be a 3-lap dash
surely
to the end.
Last sector. I mean, unless we have a visual glitch and doesn't actually have damage.
No, he definitely does. I saw it fly off.
Yeah, but I mean, the last sector must be absolutely horrendous with that end plate damage there.
Yeah, as Mushroom just said, 3 lap sprint to the end, and Marski's got a great chance now.
Is this Baku 2.0?
Marski's not got any penalties, and look at all the drivers. He could if these drivers don't.
He can jump loads.
He could be in a net P3. Diashi's got those 2 penalties.
I mean, where's Roscoe? Yeah, it's obviously they're still. Marski should get Roscoe unless massive carnage ensues, but.
Yeah, it's going to be... Well, I mean...
This is going to be crazy.
From 9th all the way down to Ginger Age, Shadows and P13 haven't got any penalties. So those guys, they're kind of be laughing a little bit. If these guys can stick together towards the end of the race, as Ginger Age gains position from Crypt the Alibi, loads of people, it's all going to be really, really messed up towards the end. There's going to be so many drivers dropping positions and gaining positions due to penalties and everything.
So, someone's got an extra penalty?
That was just they're coming out the pits, I think.
Oh, right, okay.
Excuse me. As Jake Wilson said, Marv for the win. Yes, definitely doable.
Well,
if Dylan and Jamie come together, Jamie's well, I haven't raced against him personally, but he's definitely done a fight for it now because he's got that wing damage. He's not going to want to let Dylan pass easily. Yeah, so Dylan obviously with those older tyres, he has got wing damage, so Jamie's going to have a lot of understeer in the 1st and 3rd sector. Oh, no. Just going to take a bit of a breath from that. Really, I've been talking a lot today.
Yeah, so Jamie, how is he going to manage to cope with wing damage here? That many people behind him.
It's a lot of wing damage. I'd probably say that's like at least orange
even
wing
Theo
damage.
in 6th, maybe 3-lap fresher tyres. Surely he's going to make some positions.
Well, this is a very similar thing that happened to Gold on Sunday, obviously with the late safety car. I'm telling you that those soft tyres compared to, well, Meaty's going to get absolutely swamped on 8-lap old mediums, I'm telling you that now. He's not finishing in the points.
Should we check the penalties while we...
yeah, sure.
See, so Diashi's got 9 seconds.
Oh, that's quite a lot there for Diashi.
Theo's got 6.
And Roscoe's got 9. Ginger Rage's got 9 as well, unfortunately.
So obviously Meaty's going to lose positions.
As well as penalties.
So you're thinking of Marvsky, obviously he's going to probably gain on Diashi because in that 9 seconds you're not going to gain that in that many laps. So if he can just stay within Reflection and Meaty, obviously I think he's going to get all of them probably. He's going to jump, what, from 9th to maybe 3rd.
As I just said, Becca Jones in the comment, up the Renault, I completely agree. I know commentators aren't supposed to be biased. But
you've already won it, so just shut up.
I'm going to say this, because it's our last commentary for the season. Up the Renault. Yeehaw.
And, yeah, so... yeah, so, it'd be great to see Marvsky jump, 6 positions here?
Yeah, Marvsky's going to be right up there.
Possibly podium here. Obviously, Dylan is on 7-lap old softs. He's not looking too good.
But then he's going to have at least 2 or 3 laps under his safety car as well, so that's going to really help him out.
Yeah, Jamie with damage. I think Marvsky could actually win this somehow. Obviously, it's going to be difficult to get near Jamie and Dylan.
The problem is
how many cars in front.
What needs to happen is he needs Dylan and Jamie to fight.
Yeah.
And everyone else behind, he needs to kind of either get through him quickly, or those guys try and overtake Jamie and Dylan and get some track position. But it's going to be at least that. Well, it's going to come in at the end of the next lap because it always comes in with at least 3 laps to go. Oh, well, 2. 2 or 3 laps, whatever it is.
That's true. Serious Mushroom saying at the moment, as it stands, Williams will be bronze champions.
Yeah, so that'll be really good for them for Dylan to get the drivers and the constructors wrapped up. I'm sure Ginger Rage will be quite happy. He's coming to the pits again, is Ginger Rage. I'm not quite sure why he's done that.
Has he got wing damage?
Again, I don't think the Williams team are going to be happy. Yeah, they might be winning the constructors championship, but there's going to be a lot of carbon fibre bills that Ginger Rage is going to be racking up.
Got a wing out?
No, they haven't. They're just going for some fresher tyres.
That's a bit odd, but okay.
I mean, it could be a good strategy call. He's not to lose any positions or anything from it, so I guess it could be. It's maybe a bit of a smart move there from him. Yeah, so final few laps now of the season. We'll have a little bit of a lap.
Cryptic's just managed to pull back and get back, so.
Yeah, that's all we're really waiting for. But it will come in at the end of this lap, regardless if he does get onto the back of the pack or not. So yeah, we'll have a little short lap, few lap dash to the end now of bronze. So yeah, once again, just wanted to say thanks to everyone for a great season. It's been an interesting end today here in Abu Dhabi.
Hopefully there's clean racing to the end and no massive crashes. That would, yeah. But maybe it's the Baku 2.0. Someone makes a mistake. But yeah,
it's going to be definitely have an exciting few laps. That's for sure. It's always the case with low fuel, fresh soft tyres. Other than Meaty, unfortunately for him, he's going to kind of drop down, probably outside the points, I imagine. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. It's just, at this point, it's just a matter of skill, really. I mean, Jamie's got the damage, but he has had the pace over Dylan today. Dylan's not looked quite up to scratch, but he's done his own thing with the one stop, and he's made himself work all the way up to P7. P2, sorry, from P7, sorry. Yeah, so Dylan's kind of kept out the walls a little bit. Did the safety car say it was coming in this lap? Yeah, I'm guessing it has. Reflections. The alibi has caught up to the back of it anyway. So Jake Wilson just said that he's early call from the safety car coming in. Yeah, it does usually do it around here quite a lot. Yeah, so let's see when Jamie's going to go. He's obviously got to wait for the safety car to come into the pits to proper jump the gun, because the game kind of stops you from being able to go full throttle if the safety car's not actually fully in the pit lane yet. So when will he go? Will he wait or will he do it off the last corner? He hasn't got quite yet. He's still warming up those tyres. He's gone now. He's got the jump on Dylan as Jamie. He's got a little bit wiggly on the rear end there though. But Dylan's had a relatively decent restart. Meaty's kind of actually done a raw whack job as well, actually. But Diashi's right on the back, as is Kamara Racer and Theo. Look at all these guys there. As was that Mercedes there, a vintage? I think it was, dropping down a little bit there. Ginger Ray's now up to P11. Make that P10.
Ginger Ray wants that point.
He does have a few penalties though, so a lot of other drivers do as well, so he needs to...
Oh!
Sir Dave and Vintage come together.
Oh no!
That's a huge crash there.
They came together in qualifying, now in the race.
Yeah, Vintage is going to be really, really disappointed with that. He was on for some good points potentially in the grand scheme of things, but Jamie, importantly, has been able to keep Dylan behind him.
He's done well with this damage, but what will he be able to do?
Obviously, we won't see any DRS or anything either, but Diashi's hunting these guys down. He hasn't quite got the pace to get past Meaty. Meaty's doing a really good job, actually, on those medium tyres to keep these guys out behind. 5-lap-old softs Diashi's got now. Yeah, Meaty's doing a good job to keep these guys behind.
Marcy's just keeping his patience, staying in there. He's going to jump a lot of these, so...
Yeah,
just needs to defend well.
Yeah, yeah, unfortunately, that's Sir Dave and Vintage pretty much out of this race. But we're going to stick with these guys at the front. Did I see that right? Oh, sorry, I was just seeing things. I thought Dylan had wing damage as well then, but he doesn't. So it's Jamie and Dylan fighting out for the lead. Both have not got any penalties, so they need to get it done on track. Approaching the last lap of the Grand Prix and of the season and also of the game. So let's make it a good last lap, lads. Come on.
Dylan's going to have to go for it.
Yeah, Dylan's got to send it. Down one of the straights. He's got a lot of ERS to play with. I'm sure he's got a lot of fuel on board as well. His reflection picks up another 3-second time penalty, so that could come into play at the end of this lap. But Dylan's only 3-4 attempts behind him now. It's really, really close between these guys. So Dylan's probably just struggling for a bit of tyre wear, but Jamie's got the wing damage. But Jamie just looks like he's got the advantage on Dylan. He looks like he's kind of struggling a little bit now. I think Dylan probably would have been better off boxing under the safety car and maybe trying to go for it. I don't think he's close enough. He looks like he's even coming under cost from Meaty. So
Meaty's doing well with these mediums.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised at that. As Theo gets past Kamara Racer now, so Theo's doing a bit of a vengeance in what happened earlier on. He's back up to P5, but obviously penalties. But Jamie's managed to keep Dylan behind unless there's something happens in the last sector.
Yeah, what's happened there?
Is he going to make a move? He doesn't quite, but yeah, Dylan's not quite had the pace to be able to get to Dylan. But there's still one final sector now. Oh, it's Kamara Racer gets a 3-second time penalty, but Meaty's right on the rear end now of Dylan. Is Dylan going to get a puncture or something? He could potentially. I know he's gone to the safety car, but he's really dropped off in this last half a lap.
Meaty's trying to send it, but he's already got a penalty, so he's not going to gain anything from it.
But yeah, Jamie, even with this damage, he's had an astonishing race. Got the P4 in qualifying, but he's fought for the race win. He's absolutely deserved it today. Back-to-back wins for the McLaren driver. Marsky picked up a penalty there at the end, but Dylan comes across the line and he wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the final race of the season. Meaty drops up. I'm not quite sure if that's right, because
I don't know what's happened there. Dylan's apparently 12.
Yeah, this is really messed up. Apparently Ginger Age just won the race. I don't think that's
right. Well done, Ginger Age!
Honestly, I have no idea who's...
I think it's Jamie, Dylan, and then God knows who.
I honestly have no idea what the classification... I know definitely Jamie won. He didn't have any penalties.
No, neither did Dylan, so he's definitely second. Who come third? Anyone's guess. I have no idea.
Yeah, well, all I know for a fact that Jamie definitely won that race, and I'm pretty sure that Dylan also definitely came second as well. As everyone in the saying, keep it that way.
Yeah, I think Ginger Age would be happy if it kept that way.
Maybe Dylan ran out of fuel, actually, as someone's saying. So maybe Dylan did drop down a couple of positions. Oh boy, yeah, that's going to be a really confusing end to it.
Yeah, so Driver of the Day is cryptic. I'm not sure if that's correct or whatever. I don't know. It's a bit of a mess at the minute. Not sure what's happened, but
yeah, as we see Ginger Rage's character there on the top step, I think Jamie will be a bit... Oh, Meaty did get third. So Dylan was second and Meaty was third. So yeah, congrats to Meaty. He did a really good job there on the end, just to get those medium tyres and not get overtaken by the soft runners. So fair play to him. But yeah, Jamie definitely won that, and he had a cracking race. Yeah, Cryptic Alibi definitely got driver of the day there. He got he started from P. Where is he? Cryptic. Sorry, I'm gonna run through the classification. We'll see you in a sec. So Jamie actually won the race.
By Dylan
in second. Meaty third.
No, I don't think Meaty got third. He had a lot of penalties.
No, I think he did. I think he only had the one.
Well,
penalty.
We'll find out anyway. But
yeah, he only had the one penalty. And Shadows and Cryptic actually didn't have any penalties. So yeah, so those two are right. So Shadows there in P4, Cryptic Alibi in P5. Marsky only got the 1 second, one penalty towards the end. So Marsky would have got P5. I suppose everyone jumps up a position.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
Marsky gets some points at least. Theo doesn't too bad, get some points there as well. Kamara Racer having a bit of an alright race there with 6 seconds penalties and some points as well. Diashi a bit disappointed with all the penalties that he picked up. Reflection, I'm not sure if he did pick up the last point. I think he might have done. No, he didn't. Dylan would have obviously jumped ahead of him, so he would have just been outside the points. Yeah, so what an astonishing end to the race. I'll hand over to Atten to do the interviews.
Yeah, so obviously Jamie, that's his second win in a row. Obviously ending the season on a high. Yeah, well, just speak us through your race. You did incredible with that wing damage at the end. Somehow managed to stay ahead.
Yeah, what's called? I was going to pit since it was a safety car, but I had no fresh tyres except for the hards, which would have messed me over. And I had a race engineer in my ear telling me to stay out. So I just listened to him and it worked since it stayed out for 3 laps, and then just held off Dylan because I had a good bit of ERS and I was burning the fuel so the car was light.
Yeah, I mean, me and Emerson were obviously at the end. That safety car completely shook the race up. Yeah, like there were so many different things going off. Obviously, Meaty behind you on those mediums who did very well, not losing positions. You had obviously Dylan behind you on much older softs, but yeah, I think you did incredibly well with that wing damage. I wouldn't have said you were going to win that race. I mean, what was the last sector like? Because that's surely where it comes to affect more.
So in the first sector, it wasn't too bad because it was my left wing that I broke, so I could basically take that flat out, and then into the hotel section. So before into the hotel section, it was about 1.2 to Dylan, and then it went down to about 4 tenths. So I just about got away. Maybe like a few more laps, he could add me.
Yeah. So obviously, I think you've had some like good and bad luck. You've obviously, I think one of your best races was in Italy in Monza. That's where you started to like kick off your season. Obviously, 2 wins in a row. Now you've really got went into the game, and obviously next season I think you should definitely be up there with one of the top drivers. I think. So are you looking forward to next season?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll say it'll be a tough battle between like two of the top lads, like the Ashy, and just a few lads that are staying, like Cryptic and the Reflection, few lads like that.
Yeah. Well, obviously, like congratulations on your season as well, and I'm sure you'll be definitely up there near the top in the next game. So yeah, we'll move on to Dylan, who's obviously the champion, and obviously because of you got points today, you've also confirmed Williams winning the constructors championship for bronze. So congratulations with that.
Thank you.
Ginger Rage helped a little bit with that, so give him a little praise. But obviously most of the work was done by yourself.
Yeah, especially with the Mexico race, he got the podium as well. But anyway, I took a risk to go for a one stop with a medium to softs. But I felt like I did 16 laps in previous league races. I said, why not try again? And
Yeah, I think it was worth a shot, but looking back on it, obviously no one could predict the safety car at the end, but if you did do the double soft at the end, you would have been prime ideal, like, race situation then, but, you can only look back on it and, obviously...
Yeah, hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, hindsight, but obviously you've had a, fantastic season, obviously you're obviously promoted into, silver now, and, like, from me, like, the step up to silver is so competitive from like the bottom to the top of the grid. Every point matters. So you're definitely quick enough to be good in silver. So you're looking forward to next season.
I'm looking forward to the challenge. That's all I had to say. Just going to be a step up for next season with plenty of fast drivers and also familiar faces. It had to be said, but it's just a lot. They're going to be a lot quicker, more challenging as well for next season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously it's a new game as well, so a lot of the like tactics, like rules and all that change, like with managing everything. But we'll find out who's quicker on that game compared. But yeah, obviously congratulations on winning the bronze championship. You've fully deserved it, and obviously the constructors as well. Obviously, we haven't got third position joining us, whoever that was. We still don't know.
I think it was Meaty. I think
it was Meaty?
Yeah.
Okay, well...
Apparently all the standings are right.
Oh, right. Okay. Other than Dylan.
Yeah, other than Dylan and
Ginger Rage.
Yeah,
they swapped or something. But obviously, yeah, also Reflection and Marsky have been promoted as well after this race. So congratulations to those two. Also both having brilliant seasons. So good to see them in silver next season as well. And this is the last race of bronze season. We'll see you again for Cobalt tomorrow and bronze again starting next season. So thank you everyone for watching and good night.
Yeah, thanks.